Welcome, everybody, to the Bullet Chess Championship Qualifier. First order of business, please let us know if you can hear us well. I'm Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky, and today I am joined. It is an honor to be joined by Grandmaster Benjamin Bach. Benjamin, we've got two qualifiers, so I'm really happy that I'm not doing this alone. I'm happy you're not doing this alone. We're doing it together.
Yeah, for sure. I had lots of fun playing yesterday in the qualifier and also lots of fun watching you call the action yesterday. So it is my pleasure to be joining you here today, Danya. And we've got an amazing field. If we look at the players, Hikaru and Chesscom are already qualified. Chesscom won the first qualifier, and Hikaru, he's invited due to his status in the bullet world. But Danya, looking at the field, who do you think will make it out of this qualifier?
Who do I think will make it? Well, it's a different question from who's going to win the arena, because I think we know the answer to that question. I think that players like David Paravian, Rauf Mamedov, Sergei Galko, they were all in this huge logjam yesterday for 7th, 6th, 8th spot. And what ends up happening, because it's only an hour-long arena, is that you get this massive group of players, and everything really comes down to the last couple of games, and everything comes down to who can build up the longest streak at the end. But I'm going to have to vote for some of these players who didn't make it yesterday to come back with a vengeance. Paravian, Mamedov, Zhigalko, even Wei Yi is playing. Or no, that's Shanglei Liu. I apologize.
Lu Shanglei, yeah. I haven't heard much from him in a while. He became the 2014 junior chess champion. He beat me actually in the tournament in India. But yeah, I mean, we have some amazing players. David Paravian, as you said, definitely one of the players to look out for. Dennis Lazavik, he always does well in these online events. Always. And Rauf Mamedov, I played him in a couple of bullet games. He's super strong.
Yeah, people don't realize how good Rauf was in the ICC days. Shocker, Mamedyarov just joined the tournament. Oh, dang. Now it's on.
31-35. And now it's on.
A Zeri chess that can only be one person.
Exactly. I don't really know Mamedyarov as a bullet person. I mean, I know he is really good in blitz, but do you know him as an online bullet player?
We've played maybe 3 or 4 matches throughout our chess.com careers. He's decently fast. I think he's going to get the hang of it quickly, because Grischuk yesterday, I'll be totally honest, I didn't remember Grischuk playing 1+0, like, ever. And his pre-move mechanics were actually very decent. They weren't perfect, but these players can definitely adapt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, if I have to call 2 players out of this event, I will go with Mamedov, and I guess I'll go with David Paravian. I mean, he's always up there, so those are my 2 picks from this event. And for those of you who don't know, Hikaru, he's already invited. Chesscom, he qualified yesterday. So they are just playing for practice. I mean, if they finish in the top 8, they will not play in the Naka. But we're about to get off, Danya. Is there a player you want to look out for when we start off?
Well, I think we're going to focus on the players who actually are playing for qualification. But first, I think Hikaru is going to play Mamedyarov. So with your permission, I think we can start there, and then we can branch off. And yesterday, I was sort of spotlighting various players and looking at them, particularly with an eye toward seeing players who are on a streak. There we go. Hikaru has black against Mamedyarov and a King's Indian. Then a King's Indian and by Hikaru.
Yep, and he plays a bit of a silent with Bishop 2 G4. Hikaru building up an early lead on the clock, couple seconds, and Mamedyarov goes for this trade on C6. What do you make of this opening so far?
I like this for Hikaru. You were saying he's building up a lead on the Hikaru with a lead on the clock? Really? I've never seen that before. Black is already better.
Yeah, no, that's very rare. Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a position that's very easy to play. I mean, the 2 bishops are super strong. Bishop C3, love that move. And the knight on C4, it looks nice, but I mean, Hikaru can easily increase the pressure on that piece with moves like Queen C7.
And and Bishop B2 is a nasty little fork. This is over.
Yeah, I mean, I think you might as well resign already this one. You're down a full exchange. And Diane, you're the bullet expert. Do you think Mamedyarov at this point should resign, or is it? Oh, well, you know.
Hikaru blundered the E7 pawn. That was a flat-out blunder. Now it's a little bit scary for Black, as D6 is coming.
Wait,
I would go D6 and
D6
E5.
E5? Okay, Queen E8, nice find by Hikaru. You have to go something like Queen F4, but then you can't go E5 anymore. Rook D4? Rook D4 would have picked with the D6 pawn.
Yeah, a little bit of early morning jitters for both of these players. I still think Hikaru should win this, but now it's getting very tactical.
Bishop
Queen F4.
D5.
Oh, but what do you do
Good
now?
move by Hikaru, queen a4. Oh, but queen b6 looks nasty. Attacking f2 and adding some support to the rook.
Excellent find. And now queen c5, trying to go after the root of the pawn chain. Oh, he blundered his queen!
It's full queen! What? Oh, what? Oh my god. And Hikaru resigns. Wow.
Which I was not expecting.
Make it with... Yeah, I mean, he could play on and make Mamedyarov prove that he can checkmate him with 11 seconds on the clock. Wow, what a turnaround.
When you're not, a super experienced bullet player, it's actually hard to mate someone like Hikaru with 10 seconds there, but I think he was just too upset. What a start to the tournament for Shakhriyar Mamedyarov, and a pleasant surprise for him. He's 32-12 now as a result of that one win.
Wow, yeah. No, I guess he doesn't play a whole lot of bullet chess. That's why the variance in his rating is so high, but a shocking start. And let's have a look. Hikaru right now is playing Galko. Galko also one of the players that could potentially make it. And we have a Sveshnikov. I kind of like Hikaru's position here. He's also up on the clock.
And more tactics here for Nakamura. If bishop takes c4, there is a check on g6. Okay, bishop f7, trying to get two bishops for a rook, but there's a ton of pawns on the king side that white also has. I typically prefer the minor pieces in a bullet game, but here black's king is a little bit too exposed.
Yeah, and it feels very, very easy to play for Hikaru. I mean, like you said, the king is always exposed, so you can always win some time by giving some checks. And he's got a lot of pawns. I mean, how many pawns does he have? 3?
I've been in the process of counting them for like 30. Oh, now Galko blunders a bishop in one move. What is going on here? All these players had a very late night yesterday. Yep. Okay, but we can switch around and take a look at some of the other top guys.
Let's do it. Let's have a look. I mean, let's look at Mamedov, who looks to have a crushing position and already checkmated his opponent. He's currently in first place on 9 points. I guess he's on 3 out of 3. And he's playing Jospin right now. That's a big pairing.
Big pairing. And Jospin with a Gurganidze system. Very, very solid. And Mamedov is fast. He's tactical. He's got a great repertoire. I'm surprised he doesn't play more bullet. I think he would be one of the top players on the site. I mean, even though he's relatively older than most of the other top bullet players, he is still sharp as nails.
For sure. And yeah, I mean, you've been playing bullet chess for the longest time. Was he already there, way back in the day?
And this is a case, a case in point. Just instantly seeing all the tactics. A lot of one-move blunders in the early going. He was there since the early Internet Chess Club days. Like, he was already playing bullet around 2004, 2005. And if you think about how long that is, like, that's like 20 years now. So he's very experienced.
20 years at this point. For sure. But yeah, he's playing Jocelyn right now, who is a bit younger, but also a very, very experienced bullet player. He did pretty well in the Bullet Chess Championship last year. I forgot exactly where he finished. And we were saying earlier how Mamedov was crushing it, but Jocelyn is fighting back.
He is fighting back. He's generated some counterplay on the king side and now dislodges the rook from h2. He's going to win a pawn back. And he's actually threatening mate on g3, basically. But Mamedov seems to be circling around and reestablishing his material advantage. It's all going to come down to the clock, though. Can Mamedov stay up on the clock? And you can see that he's a little bit rusty.
Yeah, Jocelyn, he's up a couple seconds on the clock. He's also the faster player, I think, but we'll find out very soon. Oh, but that's a rook trade. That's a big, big trade for Mamedov. Now, at the very least, I don't think he can lose, but can he win this one?
He should. I mean, it's winning on the board. He's got 13 seconds. He needs to make sure he doesn't hang his bishop. Go after the b5 pawn. Ooh, but he's going to lose f6. Oh, it might be a draw.
I still think... I feel like he should make this. I mean, you can easily push the pawn forward. Now you can start pushing the a pawn.
Whoa!
Wait, what's
you made a knight? What is happening here? That was an accident. Oh, what is he doing? Why are they pre-moving? They got plenty of time. What?
I guess Mamedov is trying to win, but I mean, it's not going to happen. Or, what was that, Daria? Like,
that's
how
happened
did he promote to a knight? Because
that has happened to me before. It's a weird thing where when you accidentally select, when you promote really fast, sometimes you accidentally select, and I have some stream clips where I did that, but I don't do that anymore. That was literally the only thing that could have happened for Mamedov to not win that game.
But why did he not have auto queen on?
That's a good question. Especially for a tournament like this, you want auto queen for sure.
For sure, yeah. So, I mean, he should definitely turn that on right now in between the games. But yeah, that was a big, big throw. I mean, it can happen that you want to promote to a knight, but you don't know how to do it. And
yeah,
you promote to
not
a
the
queen
other way
and
around.
you stalemate. Right.
That's hilarious. Okay, and he's I don't want to say tilting. I mean, obviously that was one draw, but he's really struggling here against another player who has had, as I talked about yesterday, a very steep bullet improvement, Matthias Blubaum.
Right. And yeah, actually, Danya, you're the expert. How do you improve at bullet? Because I've been playing for a while, but I still feel like I'm way too slow compared to all of these guys. So what is the secret?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing, as with any unique time control, is just tens of thousands of games of prep as they repeat moves and make a draw. Just like playing over the course of 10 years, I think openings are a lot more important than people make them out to be. A lot of players just play random stuff, but you can actually, contribute to your success tremendously by steering the game into not necessarily things that like not necessarily playing your prep, but playing very sharp openings or openings that cater to your style are very important. And obviously just pre-move mechanics, mouse mechanics. I mean, all that is boring, but incredibly important.
Right. And we have a pretty interesting game here right now by Mamedyarov and Chesscom. I think Black is doing pretty well. He's got firm control of the knights on d4 and f4. Mamedyarov has got the rooks on h2 and g1, but there's no real attack for white on the king side.
No attack at all. And earlier, I think Black had taken the bishop on h6. He's still completely winning, though, with that knight on t4. Although, maybe trade in rook h5, but that endgame looks miserable. He tries it. And I am going to put on the eval bar.
Rook h2 has been played. c3. Mamedyarov fighting back. The knight has to go to b5, which is pretty awkward. And now it has to go back to c7. Bishop c2 is looking at some sacrifice on g6, and he goes for it.
He does, and the king has to run up. This might be a perpetual... Ooh. Rook g5.
Wait, knight Oh, wait, check king e6. Wait, I think white is just lost, but I mean, there's still chances. Knight e3.
I don't know why he didn't check on g7. I thought that was a perpetual. Mamedyarov making some strange decisions here, but still not over. Rook g3 was a really nice move, because now there are literally no checks for white.
Rook f8, that's a big move. Yep. f2, and that's about it. Just push, just queen, yeah. And 16 seconds is more than enough time to close this one out.
Still trying. He's cut his head off, but he's still, still kicking. Knight c2. I would play queen takes a5, queen takes c7, but this should also do the trick.
I mean, he's letting it come close. I mean, it's not over yet. Knight, okay. Check.
King.
Okay.
This is the most convoluted winning process I've ever seen.
Yeah, king c4, king c3, and that's it.
Yep.
All right. So Chess Lover, by the way, also out of nowhere, or well, not out of nowhere, but he's also up there. He's on 17 points. He's in a shared second place. And Mamedyarov, he's actually struggling a little bit. He's in shared 12th place. Wait,
yeah,
55?
Whoa. Wait, no. This already looks miserable for Black.
It is, yeah.
Queen f3?
King g8. Yeah, what do you do there? He goes e6. That feels like a bit of a miss, but
I think after queen f3, you do something that starts with an R and ends with a zine. Wait, knight takes d5 and knight takes f5. And knight e7's mate there.
Wow, and in case of queen c5, there's bishop e3. And he finds it. Nice.
Mamedyarov is...
Queen e6, bishop c4.
Oh...
Or queen d8. I mean,
oh my god, or
there.
knight takes c7, bishop c4, and queen d8 sacking the queen.
Queen d8. Yeah.
I'll show the line really quickly. We were talking about how to win here. There's like a million ways to win. Benjamin proposed bishop c4. I proposed knight e7 and like queen d8 and bishop c4 with a mate. But let's see what happens, because the lower rated player always gets very nervous in this situation. Just take the bishop, dude.
And that's what he does. Knight c6 played by Mamedyarov, but is it going to be enough to hold on? He trades the bishop, okay. Maybe like knight. Okay, queen e4 looks like a nice rook f7. And I mean, that should be it. I don't think Mamedyarov can survive.
Knight f5. Oh my gosh.
Oh!
No way. That's so dirty. And Mamedyarov resigns.
He loses another game and drops down to 22nd place. He's really struggling in the tournament so far.
Yeah.
And Danya, as I was watching yesterday, I saw that Aiden Suleymanli came very close to making it, but this time again, he's doing fantastic. He's in first place right now with 21 points.
The moment I click on his game, he's just like down a full piece. No competition. He was great yesterday. He made it into the double elimination. He was very fast, but he was a little bit inconsistent. Like, he had too many losing streaks, and I think he was up 3-0 against Terry and then ended up losing. So he's going to have to step his game up today and qualify into the top 8 spots once again. Looks like Federico Perez. Ooh. Yeah, that's it. No queen e1.
That's it. All right, and now he's up against Jobson. He plays the Alekhine defense. Do you think the Alekhine defense is a good opening for Bullet, or what makes a good opening for Bullet chess?
Fantastic opening for Bullet. I play the Alekhine a lot in Bullet, and not just when I'm tilted and pre-move knight f6. One of the good categories of Bullet openings is ones where you force your opponent to overextend in the center, because it's incredibly difficult to handle a space advantage in Bullet. It's much easier to play the cramped position, actually, because you can often go back and forth, whereas when you have a big lead in the center, you have to like manage your like empire, you know? So I think it's a great, I mean, you can see how the Alekhine turned out in this game.
Yeah, no, he's great. A great counterplay with the knight on c2. I mean, you have to play rook. Where does the rook even go? Wait, rook b1, but it feels like a something there. And also, look at the clock. He's up 13 seconds.
He had some simplification tactics there with taking on e2. He's going for mate. There's no queen d1. Try to set it up. You can't go rook g8, though. And now white's threatening mate in 1.
What was b5? What was b5? I mean, that did nothing. And now after bishop f5, how do you stop rook h7?
What do you mean it did nothing? Grabbing important squares on the queen side, because there's a lot going on in the a4 square. Oh, queen e2.
Okay. But it
doesn't work. It's mate
I mean,
at the end.
You take on e...
Oh.
Yeah, rook d2? Okay, wait. King g1?
But there's nothing.
Rook
g8?
d1?
Rook g8, maybe.
And king h2. Or rook g8? Should d4 check? King h1? Takes on f5.
Rook
I guess
d1
you take
check. Black's gonna make a queen and get checkmated on f8 and then and then g8 and g5. Oh, beautiful.
Yep, and it's on the board, g8 and g5.
Wow.
All right.
David Paravian. The Alekhine does go down, and we got another big matchup here. Jose, now unlucky enough to face Suleymanli with black. Knight g4. Whoa.
Yeah, this is a pretty typical maneuver in this structure where you move the knight away from f6 to be able to go f6 and e5, build that center. But it does concede the d5 square. But now Joswin can take the pawn on h3. Will he do it?
Goes knight b4 instead. There was that knight on c2. Rook a6. The positional mastery displayed by Jose. But Suleymanli says, I don't care. I'm going after your king. But this could backfire very easily. This is getting incredibly sharp.
And the knight's on attack. I mean, do you take the pawn on h3, then white moves his king up, and your knight's a little bit trapped. He goes bishop to d2. Wow. I guess he just wants to recapture with the pawn and open up the f-file for his rook.
And threaten to trap the queen here with g6.
Rook h6. Wait, rook h6?
It works. Lost now. It is, and now white is completely lost. And the bishop goes down, takes rook f1, and queen d6 was winning.
No, Joswin has this game in the back. I mean, queen f6, and the position is also, besides winning, much easier to play for black. So there's no doubt in my mind that Joswin will win this one. Although
he's trying hard to, you know. Whoa! He blundered the rook.
3.
What?
Wait, check
rook
out
f8 and rook e7.
There was. But you take an e2.
Unbelievable. Now it's anybody's game suddenly.
I would still give the edge to Joswin, given the fact that white's king is so exposed, but look at the time, 17 seconds apiece.
I feel like I'm seeing some of these. I feel like there was a party hosted for all the participants yesterday with all the one-move blunders. Wait, the bishop was hanging. It still is.
Yeah, and he takes it. I would still prefer Joswin's position because he's got all the checks, but it's a really close one here.
White might have all the mates, though. King d2. King d2 preparing bishop f6. It's unstoppable.
What a fine with just a couple seconds on the clock. And bishop f6, that's it.
Josbum loses. That's insane. It was winning.
But he's super fast. He doesn't go down without a fight.
Ever. Josbum is just, in pure time scrambles, he's very, very hard to stop. Wow.
I don't know if you saw the Armageddon series in Berlin, but even over the board, he's super, super fast. I kid you not. He makes like 4 moves in 1 second.
Crazy. I'm pretty slow over the board at like actually carrying the moves out. But I see some players and I'm just transfixed by how quickly they're able to move a piece and press the clock. It doesn't matter where on the board, just instantly. Yeah,
no, Terry also is another player that definitely comes to mind in that category. Right now we're watching the game between Aiden Suleymanli and Frederik Svane. I mean, Svane, he also has a brother who's a good chess player. But I don't know him really as a strong bullet player. But let's see if he has a shot of making it.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about that.
I kind of jinxed him there a little bit. Now here we have Pichot, very strong player from Argentina, who's currently in 5th place. Yep. He's always up there in bullet chess. He's rated around 3,000. So I think he has a shot of making it into the knockouts.
He definitely does. And we'll maybe spotlight Terry after this game. We got Paravian in first. Hikaru is on 9.5 out of 11. He hasn't lost another game since he lost to Shakirara on that queen blunder in the first game. But yeah, Platty is good. Pichot is a good player. He actually did incredibly well in the last CCT event. I think he won the 3rd division. But obviously that's not a bullet. Yeah, he won Division
3, so that's... yeah, but still amazing showing by him right there. And we have an IM in 3rd place, Matthew G. Are you familiar with him?
Matthew G, yes, I am familiar with him. I've played actually quite a few games against him. His full name is Matvey Galchenko. He is maybe 2450 FIDE, but he's got a very unique opening repertoire. Maybe we'll actually check out some of his games. He plays the bird opening, and he knows it very, very well. He's an example of someone who uses openings to improve his bullet results.
All right, anyway, in the meantime, in this game between Aiden and Platty, I would give the advantage to Black. It feels like Black's moves are a little bit easier, and he's up 6 seconds on the clock.
For sure. This might also end in a draw, assuming no pawn blunder by White. I don't see a way to blunder anything here.
Okay, Rook B1 makes sense to trade with a pair of rooks, but how are you going to make progress here with Black? I mean, maybe bring the king all the way around?
That would be a thought. I think it'll be a draw, though. I don't think Black's going to risk it.
I mean, he is up like 5 seconds, and he can go Rook D1 at the right moment and stop King G1 pre-move.
You can also play Rook takes G6, but that's a little bit too dirty.
And that's what he does. Rook B1, that took a couple seconds off of Platty's clock.
Now start blocking your king. 50 move roll. Soon.
How do you avoid the 50 move roll here?
You take on H5 or take on G6 at some point. Oh! White avoided the 50 move roll, though. Why did you do that?
Yeah. And that's just going to be an easy flag, I assume, for Aiden. I mean, although G6, G7 is coming very quickly.
Or is it?
Wait, 1 second.
Oh my god.
If Platty just had 1 more second on the clock, I think he would have been able to get the E5 pawn on the board, but he got flagged there in a very tough game.
Incredible. I'm going to turn on Matthew PGP, who's now in 2nd place on a 7-game winning streak. And once he starts his new game, he's taking a bit of a breather, it seems. But I will turn on his games. We also have Renato Terry, who is sort of circling around it. There is Matthew PGP. Okay, he doesn't play the bird in this game. I guess he just plays it against me because he knows I don't know what to do against it.
Right, and he's playing Sana Shugirov, a very strong classical player. He's rated around 2,700. Let's see how his bullet skills are. And yeah, Terry came extremely close yesterday to making it to the main event. He made it all the way to the finals of the losers bracket, but unfortunately for him, lost in the final game against Emin Ohanyan.
Yeah, I have a very high opinion of Terry's bullet skill. Incredibly fast, and he has a different bullet style entirely. He is uber solid. He plays his regular openings, super solid. He goes for a lot of endgames, but he's a great endgame player, and he just shows that in bullet, you really can steer the game in your preferred direction, and that improves your results.
And I was wondering, so how much of being a fast bullet player is just, a natural talent or mechanics, and how much can you actually, learn or practice?
I think I mean, a lot of people ask me if I do like aim trainer or I train my mouse, and they don't believe me when I say no. They're like, well, there's no way. But the aim trainer is all the bullet that I've played. That is my aim trainer. Like, I've played 50,000 bullet games. Eventually, you just learn how to put the pieces on certain squares. But Sanan.
You should not put them on the G8 square because that hangs a rook.
And another bullet tip from the cabinet, of the bullet expert: do not hang your heavy pieces in one move.
But this is not over. I mean, knight G3, although it's almost made, but not quite.
Oh, the knight was undefended. Oh, he's blundered the other rook.
Oh, what a tough game for Sana Shakir. I mean, he played a perfect game. He was dominating, but then he hung one rook and then the other one. And I mean, he did everything right. He had a dominant position and he was way up on the clock.
Dude, I've had the craziest, bullet scrambles, especially in important bullet tournaments. I feel like it brings out the nerves, which brings out crazy sequences. Like I had this match against Min, not Amin, but Min Lee in the last year's bullet championship where we were 8-8, I think. And it was all down to the last game. And I was down 2 pawns in an endgame. His pawns were like on D5 and E6. And then he blundered one of the craziest mating nets. Like you will never see this mating pattern in the endgame ever again. So that's also what I love about Bullet. It brings out some really unique tactical patterns. Speaking of which, look at this pattern. Goodbye.
Yeah, Matthew has lost the rook. I mean, knight b4, it's still a game on. But yeah, that was a true heartbreaker for Ming. I mean, it felt like he found the only way on the board to actually lose that game. I mean,
literally.
Because, those 2 pawns were about to promote.
You knew you saw the game.
I saw the game, and I was actually kind of happy because I was backing you in that match.
Oh, okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Bishop a3 here. Bishop a3. Wait. He just gives it back a full rook. King e7.
Now he sees it, but you're right. Bishop a3 there was winning. Now it's anybody could get checkmated here.
And can Black potentially play for win here? Can he walk out of it, or is that too much? Okay, he takes the pawn.
Queen d1 and knight e3.
Knight e3. So, but I don't think that's more than a perpetual, right?
Oh,
okay.
Now queen takes f5 simply, I thought.
Right, okay, king c6, at least you walk out of the danger zone, but queen f5, and time's about even. Knight e1, king knight f3.
Knight e1.
Maybe knight e4, okay, that's a nice... Okay, king b5, this king at least is safe.
Whoa, what a bold move, jeez. He's covering it with his knight and running around to the other side of the board. Now queen e4 check, and it's absolutely anybody's game.
Exactly, both players are on 9 seconds, king of 7.
Oh!
The queen! This is too easy to pre-move with Black right now.
Paravian never does that too. David is a very, very good pre-mover. I almost never see him blunder like that. Oh, mate on f2 and d2. Okay. And Matthew wins again. Yep,
he stays in second place. David is still doing amazing. I mean, I think at this point, he's got very good chances to at least make it into the knockout, but you do not only want to make it into the top 8, preferably, you want to make it into the top 4, because then you are in the winner's bracket, which means that you will only have to win 2 matches to make it to the main event.
Huge difference. It completely changes your experience, and I think it's a very smart way to motivate people to finish, because often the drawback is that it doesn't really matter where in the top X spots you finish. Here it actually does. So Matthew really staking a claim here. Getting fortune kind of smiling on him, but it smiles on those players who are the fastest, who are the sharpest. That's what produces blunders in the opponent. But he might win this one too if he figures out a way to follow up on the attack.
So rook b6, queen. What if the queen moves back to c5? I mean, Black has a strong attack, but he's down a piece, and he's also down on the clock.
By a lot. And now he's... Ooh, queen f4 check is going to pick up the knight. Maybe queen b4?
Yep, and White's time advantage is dwindling. Queen b4, nice find. e5. Okay, but there's e4 coming now. This is far from over.
Queen takes f2. He also could have won the knight back with queen e7 check, but I think Matthew is trying to go after White's king here. Now you just have to help yourself to all these kingside pawns and push e3. Always create new problems for the opponent.
It goes rook c8, knight c3 back by White. Maybe knight e5 to c4 could be a nice idea. But I feel like given the time advantage and the knights that are so tricky in Bullet, White should have this game.
Knights are amazing, especially when they're surrounding an open king. It's almost impossible to avoid missing a fork. Taher going for the queen trade. I think the time advantage is going to decide this game.
For sure, yeah. And also, I mean, White's position is just so much easier to play. The knights are dancing around. Knight f4. Look at that checkmate.
Wow.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, that is dirty. And Joseph Taher, the Indonesian international master who had a tough time in the elimination knockout yesterday, I think he can qualify once again. He's a great player. Oh, there we go.
For sure. And Matt Shuzov playing the Birds opening, kind of a reverse Dutch against Moroni. Moroni could have picked up a pawn there on b2. Was there any reason why he didn't do that?
Nope. The reason might be that he didn't see it.
Yeah,
that might be the
very
reason.
fast and bullet, but I like Matthew's position now. He's got a space advantage on the king side, and he can put that to work and potentially create some sort of attack.
And he's pushing the knight away, blundering c4. Still a big space advantage and easier position to play. Maybe g4. Try to bishop e4. There's knight d2.
Bishop d3. But yeah, I mean, you can go knight g5 and queen h4 here. Not right away. That c4 pawn was quite important because it gives black the very important d5 square for his knight, where it will always cause white some trouble.
Absolutely. And Moroni simplifying the game, solidifying his knight, blundering c6. And I think Matthew's going to win this game. When I see these pawns, I feel like that's it.
Right. Well, queen d3. His king is kind of exposed, though, and I don't see how he's going to create an attack right away. And he's taking a lot of time here.
I would have gone f6, but there was this crazy tactic there with knight takes f6. Whoa, he's got knight f6 anyway.
All right. So if you take queen d2, and if rook e2, there's queen d6 check.
There was also queen takes c1. But
and Moroni should have this game. He's that's a mouse slip.
It is a mouse slip. And Matthew resigns. Moroni, great game. He kept his composure there. Matthew will try the bird again against Josef Taher, but we can switch around and maybe take a look at Renato Terry, who is climbing up the ladder here, now in 5th place with 41 points.
Let's do it. But as soon as we wanted to click on him, he's waiting for a game, it seems. Still waiting. Sometimes it happens, where, you're playing in the arena, you finish your game, and you're like, can I get a game? Can I get a game? And Chesscom's like, no, you got to wait for a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes you have to wait for, 30, 45 seconds even. I feel like when that happens, really? It's waiting to pair me against a certain someone.
Hikaru.
Like it's waiting for Hikaru to finish. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And the most annoying thing is, if you play against someone who should have resigned 20 moves ago, then finally you checkmate him because he didn't resign, and then you get paired with Hikaru.
Exactly.
Had that person just resigned like way earlier, you could have gotten a completely different pairing.
Yeah, you just hold your breath so often because the relief when you get paired against, a lower-rated player versus the horror when your streak is coming to an end. Sometimes you just play someone and that's it. You just know.
Right.
Ooh.
But yeah, Terry doing amazing. I mean, he's up a piece here. Rook a5, rook e3 coming. I mean, he's got this game also, given the fact that he's up a little bit of time.
And now he's up 2 minor pieces. Just take on f7. You will see Terry play these types of moves all the time. Very practical, keeps his king safe. And this is a good example of, will white resign and save him 30 seconds? The answer here is yes.
Yeah, you helped Terry out a little bit there. I mean, you asked for it, and White was like, okay, I mean, I'll resign. Exactly. So Terry is making a strong comeback. Matthew, on the other hand, he started off really well, but I feel like he's been struggling over the last couple of games.
Yeah, he has. He's dropped a little bit. He's at 41. Terry is waiting a long time for his games. Like, it switched us over to Beardson against Suleymanli, which is a really interesting game. I'll click back on Terry once he starts a new game.
Mm-hmm. Right. So this game between Beardson and Suleymanli, pretty much...
It went over to Terry because he started his game.
Against none other than Hikaru. I mean, that's pretty much the toughest scenario. You wait for, 20 seconds, and then you get paired against the toughest player in the field. And Hikaru, he's fast as, light. He's already up a little bit of time on the clock.
And Hikaru's good against Terry. I mean, Terry just really struggles against Hikaru. I've noticed this by watching Hikaru's streams, and he just cannot seem to find his rhythm. Wow, that was a completely one-sided game.
Yeah, and I think Terry making the right decision there, just clicking the resign button. He was down in exchange and a couple pawns, so it's better to just get that game out of the way and start another one.
Hikaru in 2nd place in the arena. Paravian still clinging to 1st, and he's on a 4-game winning streak, so good stuff by David Paravian. And I feel like we saw that loss with the mouse, but we haven't seen his positive highlights, and we'll be sure to check out his games pretty soon. Pranav also.
And yeah, in the meantime, we've got a typical Terry position. I mean, he traded his bishop for the knight on f6, but he's got excellent control of, although, as soon as I said that, I feel like Black created some pretty nice counterplay.
Ooh, no, you were right. It was excellent control over all the key central squares. Now, f4, and Matthew is rumbling forward. Still not clear how you're actually going to capitalize. Terry always keeps it so solid that you got to work very, very hard to convert.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you might have a nice position against him. You feel like practically, I should win this one, but he's very good at finding those tough moves and still hanging on. But as soon as we say that, he hangs a knight.
Still not easy. The king is safe. How do you make progress here?
And Terry is fast. He goes queen b5. I guess a move like h5 is something I would do here to make sure that there's never any issues on the back rank. Rook a3 is going for rook a7. Nice move to create some counterplay.
I would have traded.
And
fate.
Okay, a4, I guess. Okay, queen d6. That's an important pawn. Terry up 2 seconds on the clock. It's definitely worth something. Queen b4. Black has the attack, though. I mean, how do you defend f2?
There was queen e1, bishop d4. Oh, and great tactical eye by Matthew. And now he should win.
Bishop d4, that's GG.
That's it. Yeah, total GG.
No, that's game over.
Wow. Impressive stuff by Matthew, who keeps his 4th place. David Paravian has ended his streak. There's also V. Pranav, who suddenly has climbed on to 3rd place. That's just what happens in these arenas. And he's got a 1600. Pretty good pairing.
He's got the dream pairing. He's playing a 1600 in the tournament. You can't really ask for much better than that. And he's already crushing it. He's probably waiting for his opponent to resign. I mean, why hasn't he already?
Yeah, and now it's mate. That's tilting, and
I
your
feel
opponent
like-
is stalling it out.
Yeah, a little bit weird that his opponent didn't press the resign button, but eventually Pranav gets the win, and he's doing amazing in the tournament. He's in 3rd place, and now he's up against Denis Lazavik. I think this is an important game to determine who is going to make it into the knockouts.
Very. Denis, also almost a GM version of Renato Terry. Ultra solid, like symmetrical position. This is a Denis Lazavik type position. This is the type of position he always gets in blitz games. And this is my type of position, too. You're up 2 pawns, and you're about to be up 3.
Exactly. Knight takes d5, e7 is hanging. You have to play rook e8, rook fc1, nice solid move. He's playing very nice and solid chess. He's very well prepared. Always manages to exert some pressure on his opponent with his 1d4 repertoire.
Yeah. He likes Catalan, fianchetto, any opening that involves fianchettoing his bishop. He's very dangerous at. And now the knight's running amok on the queen side. Knight c6 was possible if he wants to pick up another pawn. Not anymore. Now he's threatening it again.
Knight c6.
Goodbye.
Oh, and you not only win a pawn, you also win the knight on d6. So tough loss there for Pranav, but a very important win for Denis Lazavik to move up a little bit. He's got good chance to make it into the top 8, but he really should be aiming for the top 4 because then you make it into the winner's bracket.
All right, Pranav, you lost the game. Let's get you a nice, easy, confidence-boosting pairing. You get the black piece against Hikaru, Nothing major.
Yep, and Hikaru got the type of position he likes. He's up a pawn, and I know what he's going to do. He's going to go like h4, h5 at the right moment and start some sort of kingside attack.
100%. And Rugby 1 Hikaru just kind of nurturing his advantage. And the Hikaru Whisperer strikes again.
g4. And this is just a crushing position. I think you just go h5, sack the pawn. If black takes, rook g2, and bishop h6 is a major threat right now.
That was just
you don't hold these against Hikaru.
Very, very poor game by Pranav. Take queen
f6.
f6, yeah. Or this. Well, I guess f5 still. Bishop takes c6. Oh, that's nasty.
No, it's over. Yeah, tough sequence here for Pranav. I mean, he lost that game against Denis Lazavik, and now he's going down against Hikaru. And I was about to say, I think he should hit the resign button and get another game here.
Yeah, and Hikaru gets a pretty easy pairing. He now jumps onto 1st place, passing David Paravian, who has black against Aram Hakobian in a crazy position. Okay, as soon as I say that, it all becomes very symmetrical.
Right, but David is up 7 seconds on the clock, which definitely counts for something. Although, I mean, now it gets very symmetrical. He should still be able to win this one on time.
A draw agreed, though. David being gracious. I would totally play that. 26 seconds for white. With any knight on the board, this is hard to hold, by definition.
For sure. Yeah, but David stays in 2nd place, has amazing chances to make it. So let's see how he's going to do. And here we have Pranav against Joseph. So Pranav gets an easier pairing and goes for a quick attack on the h-file.
Joseph is in 11th place right now. You need to finish in the top 9. Obviously, Hikaru will not be participating in the elimination knockout. So you want the top 9. Ideally, you want the top 4 And we've had a couple of players climb back up. Ralph Mamedyarov, who was tilting early in the tournament, he's now in 6th place, so maybe we can check out his game after this one. He's now on 49 points.
For sure. Yeah, so knight c4 played by Joseph. b3. Nice move by Pranav to try to get rid of the knight, but I mean, it's a little bit annoying with a knight and the queen around white's king. If black can get him more pieces, you might get some chances for an attack, but Pranav has the edge on the clock.
And Tahir kind of repeating moves there. I would consider c5, chipping away at white's center, but now it's not as strong because white can take, put a rook on h1, blunder f2.
That's what he does. Okay, king b8. I guess queen b4, try to go for a check on d6, but it doesn't do that much. Rook c8, nice move by Joseph. And yeah, you were saying earlier that if you make top 9, it might be enough. You might also make it if you finish in 10th place, because don't forget that Joseph has already qualified as well.
Oh, that's exactly right. And he is currently in 8th place, so he is taking up one of the spots. You're absolutely correct. Grischuk is in 11th place. Sasha playing in all the bullet qualifiers. That would be fun to watch him in one of those elimination matches.
For sure. I love Joseph's position here. He's up on the time. He's creating some threats on the queen side. Rook f4, nice move by Pranav, though. Can he hold this one with a 5-second deficit?
And can he go on the offensive at some point with a back rank check? He's kind of swinging, trampolining between h4 and a4, but he's losing too many pawns, I think.
He's got the knight, though, which is always tricky to deal with. But knight f3 is not the move. I think he should have taken the pawn on f7.
100%.
It's gonna 100% come down to the time here, but 3 seconds is quite significant.
Tahir with, queen f1, threatening queen a1.
Oh, but you take.
C3.
Okay. Wait, check.
Oh, now
Rook
there's
C8?
going to be a lot of checks.
Rook c8.
Oh, queen
wait,
a5.
Queen a5?
Oh, he still might flag him.
Check.
No,
Wait,
too reticent.
It's going down to the wire. Oh, and he gets the queen, and now you can pre-move everything. But still, 1.5 seconds.
Oh, why should
I think
win?
Pranav should have this one.
He should. He's trying to cut black's king off. Anti-pre-move chess.
But
and
great pre-moves by Joseph.
Oh my gosh, Pranav won that one.
What a game. I mean, Joseph was doing amazing with just a second on the clock. He was still able to get some pre-moves in, even though Pranav tried his hardest to stop all of them. But Pranav takes the win.
I'm going to take a quick look at Grischuk. He's now in 9th place, and he's winning another game here against Viagra. He is fast. That's his name.
Yeah.
He's 3 pawns up.
Grischuk should have this. You just push the a pawn. I mean, he should have this one with 33 seconds. Bishop b5 seems like a fine move. Oh, no, wait. Rook c1 and knight d3.
Okay,
wait, I don't like g3. It allows knight e1 to f3 and still some play for black. But no,
Cristobal is an a queen. Another win for Grischuk. He is now in. That's going to put him in 7th place. And if he can win another one quickly here, he can get up to 3rd or 2nd. Yeah, he's got a good pairing, too.
Yeah, and look at the standings, Donnie. I mean, Hikaru is well ahead of the field. He's on 73 points. Then Dropson is not too far behind on 68. But then there's a big pack of players on 56, 54, 53, 52, 51. So it's going to be super close as to who makes it into the top 4 and who makes it into the top 8.
Absolutely. And Sasha trying to make that claim to the top 4. He's got a very close position. It's going to take a while to win. There's knight takes g3. That would have picked up a pawn.
That was a nice tactic. But yeah, Grischuk seems to be on a roll. Oh, and knight takes d4. Ooh. Nice find. He should win this game. And that will give him good chances to keep moving up.
And he should win it really fast. White might resign actually here. Knight takes f3 check. It's a full piece. King h1, I guess. But white resigns. And Sasha is in 5th place now. Moving forward. 1 point away from 3rd.
Yeah, it's super close. And the player who's in 3rd place right now is Terry. Is there a player we haven't really looked at yet? Maybe we can have a... Is there one you want to look at right now?
Well, there is Mamedyarov, who we haven't looked at in a while since the start of the tournament. He just won a game. He's up to 53. So let's see.
And he's playing Grischuk right now. What a pairing.
Let's go. Grischuk with the white pieces, playing that offbeat Sicilian. Fianchettoing his queen's bishop. And a nice position for Ralph.
Usually... 95, nice move, doubling black's pawns on f6. Grischuk having a very slight edge here. I think the position is slightly easier to play because it's going to be difficult to put that bishop on g7 to work.
For sure. You can play f5, but then you run the risk of trading the bishops and weakening your king. We might get a lot of trades down the e-file, but Grischuk trying to get the e-file for himself and forcing the knight back and bringing up the queen. He is putting some serious pressure on black. This looks terrible now for Ralph.
Yeah, great game so far by Grischuk. He gets a pass d pawn. The pawn on c5 is weak as well, and the black king is a little bit exposed on g7 because the 7 rank is wide open. So rook a7 is a nice move by Ralph, but knight e1, that's a nice one. He wants to go to d3, and that's why Ralph played g5, so the knight cannot hop to f4, so he can get to e6.
Rook b8, now he's hunting for checkmate. Both of his heavy pieces on the 8th rank, but this could also backfire because the king is surprisingly safe on h8. Oh, what a move. The queen had literally one square.
Okay. Rook d7. Oh, rook d7, nice fine, and it's over. I mean, you cannot stop checkmate here.
What a game by Sasha with plenty of time on it. And h4. Wow.
Great. Oh, he also had rook h7 and h4. That would have checkmated right away, but he gets another win. And yeah, Sasha doing amazing. He's in 4th place right now and just 1 point behind Renato Terry.
Yeah, and Renato Terry on a 5-game winning streak of his own. He's playing Matthew. And he's got another typical... I feel like Terry's knight is always on c4. It's literally any opening, he'll find a way to get his knight to c4.
Exactly. He's got a knight... I mean, black seems to be doing well here with the knights that are pretty active, but bishop c1, nice move by Terry. He goes h3. Oh, but now you take and you get a very strong d-pawn. This should be This should be Terry's game.
This is a completely winning position. Black has no counterplay. And Terry's got all of his pieces on like perfectly defended squares, but gotta be a little careful here. Take a7.
I think he's taking bishop a7.
Oh, he's blundered rook takes d7.
Rook e7, and it's game on. I mean, he should still win this game because he takes on a7 at the end, and the a pawn will be very strong. But he had the opportunity to win the game on the spot, also save himself some time. But with the extra piece, this should be a win for Terry.
Yeah,
although
because
he's down a little bit on the clock.
He's got to find a way to untie the Gordian's knot there, and he just did. And you want to avoid mating with knight and bishop versus king. Obviously, he's traded. It's over.
Yeah, and he resigns. Okay, so Terry on a roll. He's on 3rd place. So even though there's still 16 minutes on the clock, let's have a look at the settings. I mean, Hikaru's standing does not matter. He's already qualified. I think David, at this point, it's going to be very difficult for him not to make it into the top 4. I think Terry's got great chances as well, but then again, it's anyone's game who will grab those other spots for the knockout.
And Sergei Zhigalko, one player we haven't looked at as much, he's playing Sasha Grischuk right now. He is up to 8th place. A heartbreaking finish for Zhigalko yesterday. He was always in the top 8 until like the last 3 minutes, it feels like, when he slided out because he had some very, very tough pairings.
Yeah, but he's down a couple seconds here against Grischuk. Grischuk also on a materials equal. Zhigalko is super. Oh, what?
Grischuk was expecting knight c6, but he might still flag him.
But Zhigalko's got the pre-moves. He's super. Wait. He lost some time there.
Oh my gosh. I think this is going to be draw.
Yeah, I think he made the right decision there, taking black's last pawn. I mean, otherwise he could have easily flagged and lost the game. Wait, he can still win.
No. He should have pre-moved. If he had made one more pre-move, he would have won.
Yeah.
That literally was what was separating him. He's still in 7th place, though. We can watch one more Zhigalko game once he gets his game started. It's just that sometimes it takes a while to pair, so it transitions to a different game. Zhigalko has black against the 2700. He should be able to win this one.
Yeah, a nice pairing for him. He should have a pretty comfortable position here. Bishop b7 castles. Bishop g6. White's going to get an isolated pawn on e4, or maybe he will lose that pawn.
Maybe he won't get a pawn there at all.
Yeah.
Nice move though. Bishop f6. Ingenious defense by White Knight 2612.
Yeah, but Zhigalko having the extra pawn, and he should also have the easier play f5. He's preparing f4 here, and White doesn't do anything about it.
e3. Okay. Just tear White apart on the king side.
e5, nice push by White Knight, but yeah, e3, and there we have it. I mean, especially in bullet, this just looks super tough to hold.
No counterplay. That's the issue. When your king is getting blown open like that, you just know it's over. It's over because it takes a certain amount of time just to make sure you don't get checkmated. But Zhigalko sinking some time into trying to figure out the most precise continuation. He can just play EF, FG, and just chill.
Exactly. And that's what he did. But, it's still a game on. Rook g4, nice find. Attacking the pawn on g3, king h2. White knight is fighting here. It's not over at all.
For sure. Rook e3 is a great move. Better than bringing the king up.
Okay, rook d4 now. Galko up 2 pawns. Also the easier position to play. Rook d2.
Bishop f3.
Wait.
Oh, he blundered it. Oh, he's blundered his queen.
What? But why didn't take it? Wow.
Unbelievable.
Okay. I think he should have played rook e8 there, by the way, trading off the rooks, leading to an easily winning bishop endgame. But this should still be Galko's game. He's up
bishop
2 pawns,
e4.
And he's up 3 seconds on the clock.
Okay, now he plays bishop e4. You can drop the bishop back.
Oh, but that was an unfortunate square, because after bishop c6, king g3, rook d2, the rook and rook d6.
Still winning, but this is dragging on a little bit longer than Galko would want it to. 13 minutes left in the arena. Now Mamedyarov has climbed up. He's in 8th place. Galko is suddenly in 12th place.
This game is not over yet. I mean, he's up a second on the clock. He's up 2 pawns, but he will still have to win this one. I think he will, though, now that he has the queen.
Great defensive effort. Great defensive effort by White Knight. Just wasn't enough. Grischuk in 4th. Terry in 3rd. Paravian still in 1st. Who else catches your eye?
Let's have a look at Penguin. We haven't seen anything of Penguin yet this tournament. Or is Penguin actually playing for qualification, or is he already invited?
No, he's already invited. So Andrew is playing for practice.
Yeah, makes sense. Perhaps we can have a look at Shahryar Mamedyarov. We saw his first game, but we haven't seen much from him after. And he's currently in 9th place. So he's currently in a spot where he would make it, but it's going to be close.
And he's got to win a couple of games relatively fast here. This one is obviously winning, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yep.
He's up a bishop in like 6 pawns.
Yeah. Queen c4, nice move. And it's kind of like, why doesn't my opponent resign here? I mean, what is he hoping for? It's
kind of annoying for sure. Like, there's nothing more annoying than the game lasting another minute when you feel like it should be over in the opening. And Grischuk Mamedyarov, what a matchup. Little did you know that they would be playing in the bullet qualifier, but I'll take Grischuk Mamedyarov in any time control.
Exactly. And this is a big matchup, Diane, because right now, Mamedyarov is in 5th place, Grischuk is in 6th. So this could potentially be a fight for the 5th place. And if you make it in 5th place, you make it into the winner's bracket.
And most importantly, Shahryar is also on a big streak. He wants to keep that streak going. Grischuk is not on a streak. Okay, now the knight on c3 is hanging. Mamedyarov with some difficulties here. Queen d4, there's bishop e3. I like White's position from an activity perspective. He can play queen g3 and go after the attack.
For sure. Now, White's position is much easier to play. Queen e5, nice move by Shek, but bishop e2, e6 is now a big threat, so I guess you put a piece there, and he does that with the rook. But now c4 and d4, but c6?
c6 would prevent d5.
Okay, queen g4, rook f2. Wait, d5?
I would throw that in. D5 looks winning for White. Don't go rook f3.
Bishop a3, nice, fine. And you lose the f7 pawn, and that should be it.
There's a mate threat on f8, so black had to waste the tempo.
Oh, but just the e-pawn.
And d5 if rook e3. Oh, yeah, e7.
It's over. Sasha wins this game, and that would mean that he is going to overtake Mamedyarov in the standings, and he will get on a streak again, right?
And he will kill Mamedyarov's streak?
And look at Czech. He lost that game against Grischuk, and now he's up with the black pieces against Hikaru.
And repeating the same exact line. They literally just had this. There's no way that Grischuk and Hikaru are communicating or that he saw it. Hikaru just plays this regularly in bullet. But here I like Czech's position a little bit more.
Yeah, he opened up the e-file for his rook, but Hikaru's got that pawn on f6, which will always give him some attacking chances.
Takes c3, though? Okay. Takes f6?
Okay, I think he should have gotten rid of that pawn, because now you take on g7, and there will always be ideas of knight h5 to f6, that could be checkmate.
For sure. And Hikaru is not taking... He's trying to go directly for checkmate. What? That could backfire.
I don't know. This just looks super tough in a bullet game. I mean, with that pawn on f6, it will always give white some attacking ideas. You have to take with the rook. Oh, no, wait. Taking with the queen is okay.
If rook takes, there was rook b5. Now there's rook f5.
And Hikaru finds it. He's up a piece here.
But I mean, still h6.
It's not over. But he's playing against Hikaru. You're gonna lose. Well,
you're gonna lose.
It's what it is.
Yeah, it is. Right, it is what it is for sure.
I'm going to win this game here, and I'll move to 90 points.
Right. I'm just going to win this game, Chad. I'm definitely going to win this game now, Chad. So bad.
Yeah.
So bad, Chad.
All right.
Wait.
That being said, it's not over yet. An H4? Also, Czech was trying checkmate.
Black could have won the knight back there at some point with a check and then a fork on the third rank. But now Mamedyarov's winning everything. He's going to flag, though.
Yeah, but Hikaru is he's the better bullet player, in the time scrambles. And look at the clock. He's now up 8 seconds or so. You're not going to survive this.
Doesn't matter, yeah. No, this is one of the worst endgames to have in any bullet game because you can't force anything and you have to react to your opponent's moves every time. There's mate.
Yeah, and there we have it. So Hikaru wins the game. A very unfortunate loss for Czech. Really the worst case scenario, losing after almost 2 minutes.
And someone's tilted. Oh my god, Sigurov is really tilted. Probably from a previous game or a set of games.
Yeah,
this is not good against Hikaru.
I have been tilted myself as well, but it doesn't, pop up in my head to be like, okay, let's go A5, A4 in this game. I would still play my normal opening. I would just be super tilted, though.
I have played H5, H4. It's usually, I think there's some self-punishment about it, or you're just so mad you're playing badly. Okay, let me, dig myself into an even bigger hole. But to do it against Hikaru is just dumb, because you just know you're going to lose in, 5 moves. And that's exactly what's happening. Oh, look at... Oh!
Yeah, queen.
Where's the mate,
queen
though?
Of fade. At this point, he should just hit the resign button. You are going to lose. It's better to save some time on the clock. And it's just a matter of time here.
Sinan is just not trying in this game. He's just pre-moving random moves, and he's not resigning either.
Yeah, it's very easy to sort of stay in that mood. It's almost stalemate, But if there's still that pawn on B7.
Yeah, if there was no pawn, there would be a renegade rook situation, and that might actually be a draw. Okay, that was a pretty sad game, and we have Terry against Hikaru. We can stay on this one. Renato, he struggles against Hikaru. Can he pull out an important win and stay in 4th place?
Yeah, Terry's got a bit of a cushion. Right now he's on 4th place, and Galko, he's 6 points behind him. So I think Terry's got pretty good chances to make it. But yeah, let's see how he's going to do in this game. That being said, don't count out Pranav just yet. He's on 68 points, and he is on a streak. Also Moroni, and Mamedyarov. So there are still some players looking to leapfrog either Galko or Terry in the last couple of games.
Moroni doing great. Sasha Grischuk, unfortunately, has lost his streak. It's Matthias Bluebaum. This is what I was talking about. We've got 6 minutes left, and there's about 10 separate players who have a great chance of hitting that 10th spot. Or that 8th spot.
Jocelyn right now, I don't see him in the standing, so I guess she will have to finish in top 9. And right now the player in 9th place, out of nowhere, if I may, is Vladimir Zakhartsov. I haven't seen him in the tournament yet, but he is up there, and he is on a streak.
And let's take a look at his games. That's a pretty boring endgame, and Terry Hikaru probably will end in a draw. Renato has basically secured qualification anyway. Big game. Galko is in 5th place. He needs to keep it up as well. And Zakhartsov is over 3,000 bullet. Pretty impressive.
For sure. Yeah, no, it's going to be super close. At this point, David is pretty much in. Dennis Lazavik, I would say as well. Terry has a pretty good shot, but it's not over just yet. But then, Galko, Terry, Moroni, they are all fighting for the 4th spot. And yeah, we have this game here between Galko and Zakhartsov. It's a typical Galko position. He always plays these Sveshnikovs or Rossolimo positions with black.
And now bishop takes g4 was missed by Zakhartsov. E takes d4.
E5, E5, great
idea, but I don't think he's out of pieces.
Okay, it's not over just yet though. Bishop E7 maybe, and bishop to C5.
Ooh, he's gonna castle kingside.
He sacks. Okay, but knight C6 and queen H2 is coming in. Rook D2 as well.
Absolutely, and the attack is gonna pass over to black. Rook D2 here. Well, first queen H2, I guess. Yeah, and then rook D2.
But this is far from over. Both players at 17 seconds. If you move the rook, there will be rook E8 check. Waiting king E2. Knight E4.
Knight E4 just wins. King E3. Oh, what do you do?
Wait, and look at Galko's clock. He's not at 10 seconds, and he's not moving.
Oh my god, he has to trade queens. Now it's an all-out time scramble. Galko, obviously the faster time scrambler. Can he make up the time difference?
And he's trading up the rooks here or winning the knight. So this should be enough, but still, his pre-moves here are pretty easy.
And if you can eliminate the knight like he just did, now it's even easier. He just pushes his pawns and he makes a queen and it's over. Or is it?
Okay, it's not over just yet. Pre-move, pre-move. Let's see the pre-move.
He did not.
What in the hell? What is he doing?
Galko flags. Oh my! And the 3 players below Galko are all on streak, so he actually could get knocked out. God knows where. Unbelievable! I've never seen him do that.
That was a humongous throw. Had he won that game, he would have been on 77 points. He would have still been on the streak, but now he gets leapfrog by Grischuk. Moroni, like you said, is on a streak. That's a big throw for Galko. Had he won that game, I think he would have had great chances to make it into the top 4. But now, even top 8 is not secure.
I guess when you're nervous like this, it doesn't just affect your moves, it also affects your ability to pre-move because your hands are shaking and you just do uncharacteristic things. Hikaru has crossed 100 points once again. 249 left. Each game here is now huge.
But to his credit, David Paravian is keeping up extremely well. He's up to 99 points. But yeah, it's going to be super close as to who is going to take that 4th spot. And even Terry, we were saying earlier that Terry is pretty much secure, but he is not. He's at 78 points and he's not on a streak. Grischuk is right behind him, Moroni, Baku Boulevard. So anything to play for here.
And it's going to really come down to the 9th and, really the 8th spot was Galko Pranav. Zahartsov is on a 6-game streak, so if he wins, he can leapfrog both Mamedyarov and Galko. Moroni now in 6th place. I don't know who we should turn to. Jospim has crossed 8th place. Jeez. Let's go back to Galko for a second. He's playing Pranav. Huge game. Galko winning again.
Galko winning. He should close this one out. He's up in exchange. He's got plenty of time. And he's kind of probably hoping that Pranav will just resign here. But wait, what is Galko doing? He's going back and forth. It's not over just yet.
He keeps throwing these positions, and he's repeating, and he doesn't see a clear way forward. Pranav exchanges the rooks, which I don't like. But Galko has to avoid missing a fork.
A lot easier. Okay, he's pushing the pawns now.
Uh-oh.
There's no easy way to get in with a rook, though.
Nope. And a draw.
Wait, oh my god.
And Galko's down in 9th place.
That one was in the bag as well. He had the extra exchange, up 5 seconds on the clock. And Danya, he lost a game where he was up a queen right before this one, and now he throws another one. Those are precious points.
They are.
Those are at least 7 points, 2 wins.
So Terry is guaranteed. It's all down to the last couple spots. Zahartsov on 76 points. He just passed Galko. Galko might not qualify again. This is exactly what happened to him yesterday. 50 seconds left in the arena. Can he win this game in the allotted amount of time? Or will Black stall it out? He got a mate!
He hangs checkmate!
Oh! That's the one thing Galko needed. And he crosses Angel.
If his opponent did not move there, Galko would not have been able to win that game, but he got a real present there. His opponent hang checkmate on 1. And now, you can try to win, but honestly, the meta here is to make quick draws, because if your opponent doesn't move, you will not have enough time.
Oh my god, Zahartsov with a very smart move there. He offered a draw. That gives him an extra point. You have to make 20 moves in order to be able to offer a draw in this tournament. Here you can see the players doing, and now, that doesn't matter because he's going to stall it out, is Jospim.
Well, it doesn't matter for Jospim anyway, because he's already qualified. But I don't know. We need a mathematician here, I was going to say. But look at this, Danya. Dropstone, David Paravian finishes in 1st place, so he will be playing in the winner's bracket. Hikaru is already qualified, but Dropstone will be joined by Dennis, Lazavik, Terry, and Grischuk. And then in the loser's bracket, we will have Zahartsov, Moroni, Baku Boulevard, and wait.
Yeah, I think Galko makes it in. Yes, because Hikaru and Jospim are both already qualified, so they will not be participating. Sergei Galko, by the hair on his chinny chin, literally just by luck, he makes it in. Let's see if he can make his run count.
Yeah, no, it felt like he tried his hardest not to make it. And then, of course, he had all the luck in the world with his opponent hanging checkmate in 1. But I feel like he deserves it. He's an extremely strong bullet player, and he should have made it a little bit more comfortably had he won that game up a queen and up an exchange.
But I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the double elimination portion, which we will proceed to next. The players will each join a call. We'll get them set up, and then they will be playing 15-minute matches. You play just like yesterday. You play as many games as you can in 15 minutes. After the time elapses, the player with the more points wins the match. And as Benjamin pointed out, the players in the top 4 in the top half of the bracket have the chance to lose a match and remain in the overall bracket. So we will explain those rules in more depth after we get the players set up. But I think we've got time for a break as we get the players into a new call, as we get them set up, and as we get them ready for this scintillating second portion of this Bullet Chess Championship qualifier, folks. We'll be back in, hopefully, a couple of minutes. And we are back here at the Bullet Chess Championship qualifiers. We have just watched a scintillating arena which determined the top 8 finishers who are moving on to a double elimination knockout bracket to determine 2 further qualifiers to the actual Bullet Chess Championship, which will be taking place a couple of weeks later. GM Daniel Nadersky, GM Benjamin Bach, bringing you coverage today. I could barely say my own name there, Benjamin, so save me. Have you ever mispronounced your own name?
No, I mean it's general. You know, my last name especially is really easy. You know, just Bob.
Bro.
But yeah, we have some exciting matchups. David Paravian, he's going to start off against Alexander Grischuk. To be fair, I think David is definitely a favorite there. He outrated Sasha by 100 points. But I think we're going to have an extremely close matchup between Denis Lazavik and Renato Terry. Who is your pick in that one, Danya?
Who is Terry playing again?
Terry is playing against Denis Lazavik.
Denis Lazavik. I would have to go with Terry. Although Terry has been a little bit underwhelming the last 2 days, I really feel like all the warm-up is going to make him play better. Yesterday was a heartbreaker for him. I think he's going to be angry. He's going to have a chip on his shoulder. I'm going Terry, but Lazavik, that solid style of his makes him really tough to play. I've posted the chronograph, the timer, on the right side, the bottom right side of our screen, so we will be able to hopefully watch the match clock, which will start at 15 minutes. And if a game is started with any time left on the match clock, it will count for the overall score. We had that quite a bit yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. So just to reiterate for everyone, there's no set amount of games that we will play. We will just play until the time takes down, and we have only 15 minutes. So you really have to get off to a good start, Danya. And as I was watching yesterday, I feel like the players play around 8 games. So if you score 4.5 points, you have a pretty good shot at winning the match.
Yeah, 8 games sounds very reasonable. Of course, some games are short. You have different considerations. When do you resign? If you're leading the match, obviously you want to stall the games out. I think players don't do that enough. I think players don't strategize enough given the amount of time left. But from my own experience, Benjamin, when you look at the clock too many times, it actually makes you nervous, especially if you have a lead. It's very, very easy to then just assume that you can sit it out, but you start playing a lot worse.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you have to keep playing to the best of your ability. You shouldn't be looking at the score. You should just be playing as you would always play. But it's the players will definitely feel some pressure if you are ahead in the match. And I have seen this so many times that a player is ahead in the match, and then maybe because of the pressure, they start losing some games. The opponent catches up, but then the moment the match is equalized, then the other player gets back again.
Totally. That's exactly what happened in I forget which match it was. I think it was Suleymanli against Renato Terry, where there was a 3-point lead for one player. Then Terry came back, or Suleymanli came back. And then the moment you come back, it's like a different psychology. Suddenly you actually have to start winning the match. You're no longer in comeback mode. And it's almost like, wait, I miss it. Like I miss being down in the match because then I essentially had nothing to lose.
Yeah, for sure. And don't forget, everyone, we not only have the winner's bracket, we also have the loser's bracket. In that one, we have Vladimir Zakhartsov, we have Moroni, we have Mamedyarov, and we have Sergei Zhigalko, who made it by the skin of his teeth. So we'll start off, Danya, with an interesting pairing. The match between Vladimir Zakhartsov and Sergei Zhigalko. I'm sure that Sergei will get into the match with a feeling of vengeance because he was completely winning in the arena against Vladimir.
Yeah, that's a great pairing for Sergei Zhigalko. Zakhartsov is an amazing blitz and bullet player, and don't get me wrong, but I really do think that lack of experience hurts you quite a bit when push comes to shove. And Sergei, he just has to avoid the nerves because the reason he didn't win that game was purely related to nerves. You stop pre-moving, your hands shake. You try to be a little bit too conservative, and in time scrambles, you got to play the way that you always play. So we'll see how Sergei manages that stress.
I think it was definitely the pressure in the stress in that one, and it's always interesting. I mean, I don't know 100% how this works out. I mean, if players lose in the winner's bracket, they will move down to the loser's bracket. So, I wonder how exactly that is going to play out. But yeah, just again, the Paravian, Grischuk, Denis Lazavik, and Terry, they will have another life.
They will indeed. And yeah, looks like Sergei Zhigalko experiencing some issues on his stream. So He's getting that squared away, and we'll start the games as soon as the players have everything set up. I was pretty critical yesterday, Benjamin, of some of the players who don't know how to set up their cameras and stuff. I feel like if you're playing online chess these days, it's like an obligation. Like, you have to know how Zoom works and how cameras work because it's important. And I think some GMs just they need to just learn the basics of like how to click a link. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it was still kind of forgivable in 2020 when online tournaments became more prominent, but these days it's just the main thing. So people should be adjusted. And by the way, Danya, the match between Vladimir Zakhartsov and Sergei Galko has lifted off, and they are repeating the same opening from their game in the arena.
Let me pull up that game, and I'll be able to follow all of the players in a second. But we have Sergei Galko. Where is he? He is here. There we go. I pulled it up. And Zakhartsov. Yeah, this is a Rosolima. Wow, he just grabbed that B2 pawn. Man, it says thank you very much. I don't like this for Zakhartsov.
I don't like it at all. I love Galko's position. He's up a pawn, a very important one. White's king is weak on G2. You've got easy moves here with rook D to H8. And he's got a 6-second lead on the clock.
He does indeed. And he can trade all of the rooks. But this is the kind of endgame in which he started showing signs of nervousness earlier. This time I like the speed. I like the persistence, stopping knight f5. And his queen's...
Oh, queen e8! Queen e8 against the bishop!
Oh!
Just as we were saying how much we love this play in G5, amazing find by Zakhartsov. He gets a pass. Oh, that is so unfortunate for Galko. He hangs his bishop, he hangs the E5 pawn, the C5 pawn, everything is gone. But it's not over. 19
He's
seconds.
Somehow the one
queen
pawn.
H4. Queen e1, keep queens on the board. Check. Still, but the white's moves are too easy now, pushing the e-pawn down the board.
Way too easy. E7, knight f3. Bring up the knight. Oh! No.
Galko perhaps was hoping for a pre-move there, but
there was one thing he could have done there. He was one thing he could have blundered there, and that was queen e8.
Right, yeah. No, a very unfortunate loss. So let's see how he will recover from that. I mean, he lost an unfortunate game against Zakhartsov in the arena. He had an unfortunate throw the game after against Pranav, so hopefully it will not throw him off too much.
I am going to just shift the board a little bit so you guys can see the eval bar. It's a slightly different scene. Just one moment here. Please bear with me. All right, there we go. Now the eval bar should be visible as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go.
All right, and we have this game here between Galko and Zakhartsov. I think Galko has a slight edge. The pawn on c6 is a little bit weak. He goes a3 so that he can now move his a-rook over to c1 to pressure that pawn on c6.
Mm-hmm. Another nice position. He's getting great positions out of the opening, and he's up on time. Something seems to happen as the game moves to its concluding phase. I don't love e5. Zakhartsov could have taken on d3, taken on e5, and simplified. Bishop f5, trying to keep the tension. Look at the Zakhartsov clock, though. This should be over with a 10-second lead.
He should win this one, yeah. Galko definitely the faster player. He again has the lead on the clock. And the knight on the 4 is a little bit annoying. Maybe you go h4 or g3 right away because you cannot take his king g2 traps at knight. But now how do you proceed from here?
Knight takes g5. Black is very solid all of a sudden. As many pieces as
Zakhartsov
can
try to get the queen h4.
Ooh, queen f3, nice move.
Okay.
Nice.
Galko having the edge on the clock once again, but can he close this one out?
Rook takes d5.
It's still a game after queen takes and gf and rook e5. Because I think you have a fortress, but you're not going to hold this in a bullet game. f4, nice find, trapping the rook.
Oh, goodbye. And Zakhartsov resigns. Galko equalizes the score. And let me know if the time is running on your screen. It should be running now. There's 11 minutes and change left on the chronograph. That time goes by so quickly. One game can take 3 or 4 minutes.
Well, it's gonna take 2 minutes max.
What am I saying? There's no increment.
Game, yeah.
There's no increment.
I think you were thinking about the SEC.
Sorry, right? I was thinking about the SEC, and there's a 1 second increment there. Obviously, here mathematically, the game can take 2 minutes and a couple of seconds maximum, accounting for lag.
Exactly, but look at this position, Diane. Sergei Galko has an amazing position once again, right out of the opening. He's up pawn. He's got the bishop pair. What more can you ask for with the black pieces?
So that might have been the dumbest thing I've ever said as a commentator. But yeah, I don't know why Zahartsov is continually repeating this terrible line. Opposite side castling. It's also Obzhigalko's alley stylistically.
E4. No, he's got a great position here. He has to win this game. I think if Zhigalko wins this game, he might get a little bit more comfortable in the match. Winning a game with black, even though it's bullet, always feels good. And he might feel like he finally gets some revenge for the game he lost in the arena and also the first game he's lost.
He's completely winning. Zahartsov has 0 active ideas. He can push D3. Zhigalko has to avoid overthinking it. He goes E3. And now D3.
A great game so far by Zhigalko. He still has the closest one out. And Zahartsov, slowly but surely, wait. That's an important knight. Just queen h2 anyway, and he goes for it.
And bishop g3 is coming next. And that's just going to...
Wait, no, this is game over. Rook d2 and the rook and you want us hanging.
Very nice.
Got 18
Very
seconds. If Zhigalko keeps his cool, he's going to win this game. Let's hope he... Okay.
It's the same situation of the queen aiming... Okay, that doesn't work.
Yeah, no, that's too much. And that is off the board, and now it's just over. And Zhigalko takes the lead.
Shall we look at some of the other matches that we have underway? We have Paravian against Grischuk, which is only in its second game. But Alexander Grischuk is going to get flagged here.
Yeah, no, 100%. He has 3 seconds against 7. I mean, with a knight, it's very difficult to make pre-moves. And there we go. He loses the knight.
Yeah. Alexander Grischuk didn't see that the king was controlling that square?
How is he a GM?
Exactly. Okay, Grischuk has some coming back to do. Yeah, Grischuk washed.
Yeah, no, but I think David is definitely favored in this matchup. I mean, Grischuk, amazing player, but David seems to be a little bit better, a little bit more well-versed in bullet time scrambles. So I think he's a big favorite to win this one against Grischuk.
Oh, no question. And obviously, no knock on Grischuk. He's just less experienced. And any time scramble, Sasha, unfortunately, just doesn't have as much experience. You're right. Here, I don't know who's better. It's a weird position. Again, Paravian
I like Sasha's position, but look at the clock. He's up 10 seconds. That's a lot of time in bullet.
He's playing lightning fast, and that's clearly part of his strategy. Some of his moves are very shoddy, and now I think he's losing after queen h4 on the board.
Yeah, but yeah, no, Sasha doing great here. Maybe you can get an f3 somehow. The knight moves back, 92. That's an important trade.
It's a trade,
and now the clock matters a lot.
And now he's going to win again. I mean, this is a flaggable position.
Yeah, king h6, okay. Knight g5. You have to go bishop g7, and it's so annoying with the knight there.
Indeed. And the bishop can't move. You get mated on h7.
You can always flick a knight f7, knight g5, and Grischuk is going to lose like 2 seconds there. But he's paused here.
Paravian's, I mean, if he wants to make the draw, then he technically should have stalled out a little bit more time. But I think he feels confident that he's got this match under control, that he doesn't need to stall the clock.
Yeah, a 2-point lead is pretty significant in a 15-minute match. As you guys can see, there's only 7 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. So he needs to get 1 or 2 more wins, and then he's pretty close to closing out this match.
I think that should be our cue to look at some of the other matches. Moroni and Mamedyarov is very competitive. It's 1.5, 2.5 Ralph. But Moroni winning this particular game, or so it appears. Oh! But he blundered with check and he won.
Rook.
Oh my gosh. Bishop g7.
Still. Bishop g7. Oh, he misses it.
But
he's up 4 seconds. Ralph is thinking.
And black has no clear checks. H7. Whoa.
Oh, wait, bishop. He had a mate there. Wait, king over. Check. Take. Bishop g7, great find by Moroni.
And he should
win this game. He should win this game.
Can Mamedyarov get rid of white's pawns?
B4.
No,
he can't. Bishop c3 and king of 4. That's game over.
Wow.
Moroni's going to tie up the score.
My gosh. 2.5, 6:24 remaining on the chronograph. So this is coming down to the wire. Moroni with a Philidor. Not something you see very often, even in bullet.
Yeah, but black's moves are pretty easy to play. You trade on d4, you go rook e8, bishop f8, you go knight bd7, c6, a5, and you kind of just go from there. White always has to be careful not to hang that pawn on e4, but I'm impressed by Moroni. I was thinking going into this match that the Ralph should be a big favorite, but the score's tied.
Honestly, I was also under the impression that this would be a blowout, but Moroni has been very sharp in the main portion as well. He's a little bit passive here. I don't like this position. Ralph has a lot of easy ways to expand. He plays knight f5. Bishop takes f6 could be thrown in, although I'm not even sure I would give up the dark squared bishop here. Attack is more important than structural weaknesses in bullet.
Yeah, I like what Moroni's done here over the last couple of moves. He played d5 and knight e4. That bishop on b2 is pretty strong on the long diagonal, but White's king is a little bit exposed potentially.
The other good thing is that if black plays g6, you're never really going to be able to put a queen on h6 because black's bishop controls the dark square so well. Black is better now, it feels like, or at least not worse.
Yeah, bishop c5, maybe bishop d6, trying to go bishop to f4, hitting the queen and picking up the pawn on g5.
Oh, and then f6
Queen
falls.
c5 though. Okay, yeah, take on c5, take on f6.
Queen c5 would have been very smart. Time. Moroni's got to move.
You gotta move. He's down 10 seconds. Wait, why does he trade the queens at rook d7? Oh, wait, there was something. Okay. I feel like Rav should win this game. 10 seconds is a lot.
Completely winning. B5, A6. No chance for Moroni. No chance here.
No.
A7.
A7, that's game. Rook e8 though. Bishop b6. Threatening rook. Okay, bishop b6. No. Puts rook behind. But you're gonna get flagged here.
Yeah, but I mean, I would not have given up the e4 pawn. Still, this is actually gonna be close. Like, black has to go for white's pawn. ASAP pre-move. Come on.
Okay, but he's gonna get flagged on rook versus rook.
I don't know about that. Ralph might not be that experienced at flagging rook versus rook.
Well, don't go rook f4. No!
No, Ralph!
Why does he trade up the rooks?
You gotta. This is a tournament, man. I think he wasn't confident in his ability to flag him. I don't think he was. Well, Ralph is a super nice guy.
5 seconds.
Yeah,
8 minutes versus 3. That should be an easy flag.
Yeah. Crazy.
But I mean, the thing is, let's say this was a 10-0 game, right? Let's say this was a 10-0 game like the RCC last year. I think it makes more sense that if it comes down to this, that you trade out the rooks. But in a bullet game, it's about flagging. So why not flag your opponent if it's rook versus rook?
I'm also going to expand the board since we don't have a an arena to follow. I'll make the board a little bit bigger. I apologize for that. We're the producers here today, so please forgive any non-ideal layouts. We're doing our best. What's going on here? Is Moroni doing his best?
Moroni sacrifices a piece, but he's banking on taking on e7. Bishop 6, great find by Ralph, because now if you take on e7, black can recapture with a knight, and your knight on c2 will always be hanging at the end, but it seems to work out for Moroni anyway.
Yeah, he's attacking the bishop. Wow, how many captures in a row is that? And here's another one,
and
2 extra pawns.
He's up a couple pawns. It should be a draw objectively, because I think you're going to lose the b pawn, but he's got an edge on the clock.
Oh, he also gives up the e pawn. That was unnecessary. Rook c1, rook d7, though. He is going to keep his extra b pawn for now. Rook f3, using some tactics. But
is it gonna?
No,
they're being very nice to each other in this match.
I would play with white.
Are they
here.
going to make a draw?
You know what's crazy is very often this endgame can be won by going to a pawn endgame that can actually be winning, like with white's king on f4. But it's a moot point. They agree a draw. This is not going to be the last game. They've got 2 more games in. 2 minutes 17 seconds on the clock.
Right. Yeah, this one is coming down to the wire. This is going to be the penultimate game.
Should we check out?
One takes it of. Oh yeah, sorry. Which?
No. I was just going to quickly update that Galko is blowing out Zahartsov, so that's not worth looking at. We also haven't looked at Terry yet, but I'll give you the final say. Terry beat Lazavik 3 in a row, and then he lost 3 in a row.
And he's going to lose another one. Lazavik is crushing. He's up a piece. And up 8 seconds or 10.
Dude, Terry was leading 3-0. He did the same thing he did yesterday.
He's going to lose this game as well. I mean, the H-pawn is just going to promote, and black's pawn is not going anywhere.
Yeah, but we can go back to the Ralph match, because that is, I think, the biggest surprise. That Moroni is pace for pace with an incredibly strong bullet player. So let's go back to the Ralph Mamedyarov game.
Moroni up a pawn here, but down a couple seconds. I feel like, again, in that second match, in the game we just saw, they just offered a draw in an equal rooking game. They're being very nice to each other. I mean, I think a lot of players would just go for the flag.
Absolutely. They've been very gracious. And Ralph, there was no mate there because the black king has h6 as an escape square. The queens are off the board. Are we going to see another draw for? Because it's an objectively drawn position?
He could go into an opposite color. I mean, I think Ralph should win this game. Wait, 94. Bishop d1 is an unfortunate choice.
Yeah.
Bishop f2 maybe. Go bishop f2.
And now there's no knight d4.
Ralph has to win this game. I mean, if he doesn't want to win this game, Does he want to play in the Bullet Championship?
Oh, he could have moved his king.
Your opponent.
He could have moved his king, but okay, now it's like, okay, bishop takes g6.
Bishop g6 and bishop h5. That's it. This position is also objectively winning, so he's going to win this one for sure.
Yeah, draw for here would be slightly weird.
Slightly an accurate move.
There we go.
Too many pawns.
Too many pawns.
Okay, so Ralph takes the lead, and we have a must-win game for Luca Moroni.
9 seconds left on the chronograph. This is going to be the final game. Moroni has to win it. He's got the white pieces, playing a calm opening. In the meantime, Renato Terry has lost to Denis Lazavik. After losing 5 in a row, he was leading 3-0, and he loses 5-3.
Yeah, no, that's a very unfortunate loss for Terry. He still has a chance, though. He moves down to the loser's bracket, so he can still make his way into the main event. But Ralph so far is doing okay. Knight b4, an active move. Rook d1 by Moroni, stopping the knight from hopping into d3.
And now c takes d5 was possible because the knight on e4 is saying it is still possible. Ralph blunders a pawn.
Yep.
Oh,
his knights are pretty active, though.
He blunders e4.
Knight d3. Oh, taking e4.
That should be... No, I mean, Ralph should not lose this game. F5, that's it. Bishop f1, maybe.
Moroni's still fighting on here. But yeah, that should be match for Mamedov. He's up in exchange. He's also taking a slight edge on the clock here. And like you said, he only needs to draw here.
Luca Moroni has played a very inspired match, but too many tactical blunders in the critical phases. His only chance is some sort of mouse slip or a flag by Mamedov. No, it's over. Mamedov just mopping up the pawns on the queen side. And there's no pieces left. Nice move.
And I just had a quick look. David Paravian, he's up 5.5, 3.5 against Grischuk. So he will move on to the final of the winner's bracket.
Yeah, not a huge surprise there. Paravian, definitely the much better bullet player. And a great run for Sasha Grischuk, who is not in the loser's bracket. He gets eliminated, right?
No, I think he moves down into the loser's bracket.
Oh, he does. Okay, so he still has... Okay, got it.
Right. So, all right.
Okay, so this is over. Moroni is going to let his clock run out, but he has officially lost. Congrats to Ralph Mamedov. And Luca Moroni, unfortunately, he is eliminated.
Right, so looking at the bracket, David Paravian moves on to the final of the winner's bracket. Denis Lazavik as well. So they will be fighting it out. Who will be the first qualifier today to the main event? Then in the loser's bracket, we see that Galko crushes Vladimir Zakhartsov and Ralph Mamedov beats Luca Moroni. So that means that in the quarterfinals of the loser's bracket, Renato Terry is going to play against Galko. And Ralph, he is going to play against Sasha Grischuk.
Oh, very interesting. So that's Grischuk's reward for losing to David Paravian, is to play Ralph Mamedov. And Ralph, I think, can generally play better than he's played, but it really is all about your performance under pressure, your nerves. I'm excited to see how Galko fares. I really think he's got potential to be... I mean, when he plays well, he's basically top 5 bullet, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's an extremely strong bullet player. I think he was just struggling a little bit with the nerves. But I think winning a match pretty convincingly, 7.5, 2.5, I think should give him a little bit more confidence in the next couple of matches. But the next match is going to be tough. He's up against Renato Terry, and I don't know. In my opinion, that's really a coin flip.
It absolutely is. Yeah, I'm looking at the bracket as well. And Mamedov, wow, it's taking me a while to understand the... So Galko is playing...
Terry, okay,
Galko's Terry.
And Mamedov is playing Sasha.
Aha, okay, got it. Yeah, we can start with the Galko-Terry match. I know for a fact from listening to Galko stream for a while that he does not like to play Terry. That's one of his most uncomfortable opponents. Can you surmount that feeling? And we all have those opponents. Like, it's a very relatable thing where there's just someone who brings out the worst in you, seemingly. Okay, that's Hikaru Nakamura. He is not playing in the brackets. I'm going to close his game. We should be starting momentarily, though, after a very, very short break.
Oh.
Okay. I'm going to go to Okay, I think everyone can hear us now. Welcome to the second round of matchups here at the Bullet Chess Championship Qualifier number 2. Stay tuned for Bullet Qualifier number 3, which we will be also commentating immediately after the conclusion of this one. But right now, we have a fresh new set of matches. Benjamin, I'll give you the choice. As for our first matchup, I really want to watch Galko, but we can start with this match between Paravian and Lazavik. What catches your eye?
Yeah, let's start with this match between David Paravian and Denis Lazavik, two absolute powerhouses in the qualifier. And whoever wins this match qualifies to the championship right away.
Yes, this is given their placement, their high placement in the overall bracket, and the fact that they both won their first matchups. Lazavik with a 3-point comeback against Renato Terry, winning 5 in a row. Pretty incredible stuff, honestly. And Denis has been a very pleasant surprise. This is what he does with black, though. Wake me up when it's all over.
Okay. White having a very slight edge. He has the only open file on the board, but I don't think it's going to be enough to win. See a trade here on a 4. And David up a second on the clock. It definitely means for something, especially given the fact that he has the slightly more pleasant position.
Yeah, he can try to rotate his rooks and get the juicer into to c7.
But he gets his king in, which is pretty juicy, because how are you going to keep everything together? He's pushing all his pawns forward slowly but surely, so that when he does pick up the black pawns, he's pretty close to creating a pass. Rookie 2. That's game.
Wow, what a positional game by Paravian in a bullet. That was like Wesley Stowe style. I mean, Wesley would be very proud of this game, I have to say. That was incredible.
For sure. Yeah, and Denis starting off with a very quiet opening here. We're playing symmetrical chess for the first 10 moves.
Yeah, just
I feel
like in
like
the
White
first
has
game.
a very slight edge here with the bishop pair, but Black has some easy moves here.
So, an interesting comment about my own bullet sensibilities. I love knights, and in an open board, it's great to have a knight, but I also love having the bishop pair in bullet. Having basically a monopoly over all of the squares, you can see it here. It makes it very hard for Black to just make moves without blundering, without allowing moves like bishop takes f5. And I think a bishop pair is a very valuable asset across a lot of bullet positions. It's a very general statement, but I think it's true. I mean, what do I know?
For sure, yeah.
I'm not really good at bullet.
Denis playing an amazing game. He's got complete domination so far with the queen on f6 and the rook on e7. David creating some counterplay with his pawns there, but look at the d-pawn. d6, d7 is coming very quickly.
You know what was very smart there? C takes before I thought was smart to not give Black the chance to create a passer, but it's hard for White to push this pawn without allowing perpetual check, which is exact. Oh, that's a great placement for the queen, cutting Black's queen off along the long diagonal.
When you took a d6, how do you stop the pawn?
Yeah, down.
Okay, king f8.
d7.
Wait, d7, queen d5?
No perpet, though.
Is it just a draw? Queen d4?
Oh, queen c3, Black takes.
b2.
Wow. How do you win?
But you still have a slight edge. Because you have an extra. You have the.
You got to try it, and he does. But amazing defense
look at
by
the clock. Look at the clock. David has an extra 5 seconds on the clock.
Did you see how dirty this was? Queen c5 would have blundered the queen. This is anybody's game. I think it's going to be a draw.
I think Denis has to try to repeat, and that's what he goes for, because he was down on the clock.
Incredible. Wow. Okay, looks like the chronograph isn't running, so I'm going to resize it on our screen here a little bit. Incredible stuff.
Right. And we are off in game number 3. And Denis Lazavik switching up his opening. In the first game, he played the Berlin defense, but he slowly got squeezed by Paravian. So he's playing the timing off, but look at this, Diane. David has sacrificed a piece to win it back.
David has sacrificed a piece, and now it's a wild position with opposite side castling. There's g5. My goodness gracious.
This is a dream position in bullet. I mean, you have easy moves like rook to g1. And how do you stop checkmate on g7? Just take an f6, and White is crushing here. Rook g6 is a major threat.
And that's it.
And
what a game. So one-sided, and suddenly Paravian is leading by 2.
Yeah, he has a 2-point lead on the clock. David sticking to his openings once again. We have the same opening. Bishop f5, probably to try to stop White from getting in that e4 break.
10:45, 10:35 remaining on the clock. I'll figure out why it's not displaying it right after this game. But there's 10 minutes 30 on the chronograph. Denis has to start winning here. He can't win games with positions this symmetrical, although he is going after some of Black's weak pawns. Oh,
Yeah,
rook c7.
rook c7. Oh, you
is
cannot
that
defend
over?
f7. Rook f8 runs the knight e6. Dennis should win this game. Rook f7.
Dude, that came out of
Check and
nowhere. It felt like it was symmetrical, equal, and now he's... Oh! Wait, knight e8? Okay.
He is winning, but it's not over just yet. Okay, rook a7. We can take rook f5. Okay, take and take. You're up. How many pawns? 3? This should be a win for Dennis. He has to win this game to come back in the match. h4, nice move. Now you can take on g6 and push the pawn forward with lightning speed. But look at David's pawn. It's already on a4.
Yeah, but the problem is he's only got one of them.
h5. Yeah, and Dennis got 5 or 4.
Exactly.
You know.
I believe that this is winning because white has 5 pawns and black has 1. It's now 0.
Yeah. Okay, are there any stalemate tricks? No. Right? No.
Yeah, that's always what you look for.
David resigning there, he could have milked a little bit more time off the clock because he is leading in the match, and we have another timer off here. Dennis will definitely have to switch it up a little bit not to get crushed again like the last game.
Yeah, and I am going to put on the timer here. We can also take a quick look, Benjamin, at some of the other matches. Okay, what do you think? Look,
I love David's opening choices here. He always manages to get the initiative with the white pieces. He's got the bishop pair, and now queen g6 is a big threat. How do you defend against that?
Huge threat. Bishop g6 will win the exchange. In the meantime, Galko is losing to Grischuk 2-1. We'll look at that match next. But these games are just so fascinating. Every game is a different flavor. Oh!
Yeah, no, for sure.
Look at that. G5, F5. F5. Or
wow.
this.
Paravian is crushing once again. Rook e8, and the knight is
Queen
pinned,
g4
and
check.
Bishop c5.
Wait a second.
It's not over.
Suddenly Lazavik is getting
but
active.
You should be able to walk out of it. King of 2, or there, king e2.
So, whoa. Queen takes a6. It's hanging. He missed it.
Wait, now it's a...
he's hanging
Queen
again.
Queen e3. Wow. That's a tough loss for Dennis Lazavik. He's now down 2 points in the match. So there's still time to catch up. But to be very honest with you, Danya, I don't love his opening choice. I think David's opening choices with white are much better. He always grabs the initiative. And here we're just having a symmetrical game. Where's white's edge?
Tactical play is just objectively better in bullet. Although I think this actually is a theoretical line where white's supposed to be a tiny bit better because this knight on b6 is a hard time moving. You don't want to give up b7. Can we take a quick look at Galko Grischuk match?
Let's do it.
Because it's...
All right.
Or sorry, this is Mamedyarov against Renato Terry. This is Grischuk against Galko.
Grischuk has a 3-1 lead. Who would have expected that going into this match? But Galko has a good position in this game, but he's pausing. That's not something you should do in bullet chess.
Yep.
He wins the pawn at e4. This should be his game to win. g4 is a nice move. He takes an e4, good as well. Not over yet, though. And look at Sasha. He's really stepped up his speed. He's up by 8 seconds on the clock. 10.
Yeah, rook c5, f6, forcing the bishop back. Grischuk is losing this one on the board, but what about the clock?
Yeah, I don't think trading rooks there was the right idea, but it's going to be tough for Galko to win this with 18 seconds on the clock. But that being said, King d6, King d5 are all very easy moves. He should win this one.
King d4, just making more
here's
progress.
The thing, Danya. Here's the thing. After knight g4, he did not have a move pre-moved after king e2.
Mm-hmm.
But he does win the game.
Yeah, he had just enough time there. In the meantime, it's 4-2 in Paravian's game, but I'm going to bring up Galko Grischuk, which is the same opening, actually, and also a Berlin. A Berlin and a bullet.
When do you ever see that? I mean, very rarely. I would think it favors white slightly. White's moves are slightly easier. Black has to maneuver on the last couple of ranks. And you can make quick moves like rook e1, rook d1, and potentially, get your knight to d5. So let's see how this one will play out.
Knight d5, a4, and maybe c4, solidifying the knight. But I don't think it's a bad choice to play the Berlin from the black side. I don't love it from the white side because, again, white's the one with more space. White's the one with a pawn on e5. And it's harder to keep track of all that in a bullet game. But we'll see how this plays out.
Exactly. Bishop 5 by Grischuk. And what you have to be really careful here is that you do not move the knight from e4. Because if you go, let's say, knight c3, black goes bishop to c2, and your entire queen side collapses g5, rook d3, and there goes the b3 pawn.
And Sergey is defending, but not the knight is coming into d4. Oh, counterplay.
E6, great move. Take. I guess a knight d4, but Grischuk is playing this game amazingly. I mean, it feels like this is a classical game he's playing.
It really does. This could easily pass for like a 15-minute game, it feels.
And Daniel, look at the clock. He's up 10 seconds once again.
Oh, and he's up a knight, but how does he stop the h-pawn? He doesn't. He promotes his
got
d-pawn.
his
It's a
passer.
rook g1 check.
And queen h5 to stop the pawn. That's game. Grischuk takes a 2-point lead. Is Galko going to come back? I don't know.
The accuracy on that game must have been off the charts, honestly, for Grischuk.
Yeah, exactly. Galko has to score at least 1.5 points in the next 2 games to give himself a shot to come back. But it's looking tough here. Grischuk is playing amazing chess so far.
He most certainly is. And 4-2. The timer at 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So Sergey has to make up this this deficit, essentially starting this game. If he loses, that's essentially the match.
Yep, that's it. Bishop 5. He's got the position to do it, though, with all the pieces on the board. Black having the easier moves here. I feel Bishop 6 is coming. And there it is. And, White's pieces are a little bit clumsy.
Renato Terry, by the way.
91?
That is an exchange, because both pieces are attacking the rook, the bishop, and the knight, which I think Sasha forgot about. Okay, now he should win.
So, queen b4, nice move. Trading off, I guess, the rooks here with rook to e1, making it a little bit easier. Or g6 stopping queen h7. Rook e1, there's a3.
Yeah. Easy to miss.
Sasha, by the way, doing an amazing job creating counterplay, taking advantage of the fact that the queen of b4 is a little bit cut off. And if Galko throws this game, that is going to be painful.
Queen c3, there's rook h1, threatening mate on h8. Black has to run with his king, but he gives the check first. Now he runs. He blocks.
Rook g8.
Looks like he's defending.
Yeah, he should win this game. The king is completely safe on e7, and he can start his own attack with g3 coming pretty soon.
But we've seen Sergey get nervous in these situations. He is down on the clock a little bit. Get that king out of the center when you can.
Rook e8 feels a little bit clumsy. Rook f5 getting ready for queen h4. Getting some annoying checks in. Okay. Oh, yeah, he hangs the rook. Wait.
Oh, my gosh. Rook
e4. 7 seconds.
He might win this. Rook e4 is a devastating check. Galko doesn't know what to do. Queen c1.
There's a rook.
Oh, my God.
But is he going to make it? He's got 4 seconds. Oh! Still, it's not over. Is he going to make it? No, he's going to make it. It's checkmate.
Oh, it's mate. And he gets that necessary win. 2.5 minutes left. This one to tie the match.
What a game. Sasha first hangs his rook, and 2 moves later, he hangs the queen. And it's down to 1 point. He should have won that game, I think, even after hanging the rook, because Galko barely had any time.
Well, I sound like a broken record, but that is where, bullet experience, knowing the timings of the moves, that's where all of it comes in handy. In the Paravian Denis Lazavik match, that match is essentially over, I think. David has won 1, 2, 3, 4 games. Still a 2-point lead for David Paravian, who seems very, very close to being the next qualifier.
Yeah, David having a 2-point lead there. Denis, even if he wins this game, he will get 1 more game.
Okay.
No, he could still come back. It's not over. It's not over just yet.
Let's take a quick look at that match and see if he can win this necessary game. Ooh, he's close to winning it, but he's down on time.
He's down on the clock. David up 3 seconds. A draw is not enough.
Oh, he blundered me! He blundered me!
And that's it. David Paravian makes it to the main event. I mean, Denis Lazavik is not going to make up 3 games in 1 minute and 25 seconds.
He won't even make up one. Big congrats to David Paravian. This is incredibly well-deserved because he was leading the arena the whole time. He was playing excellent chess from the outset this morning. And now he just cruises through these 2 matches. And he will be facing the top guns in the Bullet Chess Championship. Sergey, though, he needs to avoid losing this game. And he's doing a good job of it. He might win this game.
Yeah. Sasha always up on the clock, though, in every game. Right now he's up like 3, but I feel like Galko is definitely the better time scrambler. But can he keep his nerves together?
He's winning on the board now. Oh, I don't like that
getting
move.
Some quick moves in. H3.
Rook b2.
King e5.
Oh, rook h2. That was winning. That was winning for black. Oh, Sergey's getting a flag.
It's super close. He's got 3.9 seconds. That should not be enough time, I would think.
But he's got to get his king in and go for checkmate
Rook
here.
e6.
Rook G7. He's
and look at this.
Oh!
Look
Check and takes.
Is it gonna be enough that pawn? You can pre-move checkmate.
Yep, he got it. And Mamedyarov Terry is also down to the wire. 7 seconds left in the match, but we gotta go to the Galko match because this one's tied. This game to decide it all.
Yeah, the timer is about to run out, and there it is. So whoever wins this game wins the match and moves on in the loser's bracket. What a heartbreaking loss that was for Sasha Grischuk.
That was a backbreaker. He had it in the bag, I think. At some point, he was even better in that end game. My goodness gracious.
I feel like, he should have won that game. Galko was about to run out of time, but he found a way to checkmate.
God, that is insane.
But look at this, Danya. Galko coming pretty strong out of the gate here. He's up almost 10 seconds, and he has the easier position to play.
Fantastic position. We've seen Sasha up on time in most of these middle games. Black is solid. That's the main thing. Grischuk has to generate some play on the king side. He's trying to do that. Queen's off the board. Potentially, I would maybe have traded queens. Definitely trade queens if you're Sergey.
All right, but Sergey's still up 5 seconds on the clock. He trades rooks on rook b1. You still hold it together, but you can take it, maybe go c5.
Then knight d5.
Okay, evening up.
I don't like where this is going for Sergey.
This one's coming down to the nerves. Rook c8, knight d3, maybe going f4 and e5, trying to get that pawn majority going.
That was a fantastic pre-move by Sasha.
Exactly. In knight b4, knight e5. Objectively a draw, but look at the clock. Sasha up 5 seconds. Can he close this one out?
This is going to be a draw. That's going to be insane. This is going to be a draw. And they're going to play one more game. Yep.
I feel like Grischuk traded off the rooks there because Galko is the better time scrambler, but it's all going to come down to this game right now.
Unfreaking believable. In Renato Terry's game against... Oh, Renato Terry won on demand, so they are also playing a tie-breaking game. It's 4-3. Renato still needs to win this. Renato needs to win this to tie the match.
Renato still has a chance. And he should win this game. He's up 1 or 2 seconds, but not easy. E4, E3.
And knight F2 there. Knight F2. Yeah, he's got it.
Okay, take the bishop. That's it.
On-demand win with the black pieces. And they are also going to a final decisive game. Wow.
Yeah, there we saw the experience of Terry. He did not go for the checkmate. Instead, he went for the flag. Make sure the white cannot pre-move. So, yeah, another match coming down to the wire.
2 of them are both going to end up in a decisive game. But back we go to Galko, Grischuk, and Sergey is again struggling on the clock on the board. He's got a very shoddy position. Down a pawn with more weaknesses on the queen side here. Oh, and knight e4 was a threat. Oh, rook d8. Okay.
Queen b7. He's even up the material, but Grischuk still up 8 seconds on the clock. That should be a win, but Grischuk is not the typical bullet, but Queen b4.
Is this going to be another draw? Oh, white could have won black's pawn there by chasing it around the board with knight c4. Sergey missed the chance, but he got his king into the center instead, which is good.
Yeah, Sergey definitely having the advantage here, but down 6 seconds. Is it going to be enough? 95, 93. Some trouble here for Galko to figure out. Knight f2 maybe? Or check a knight f4?
Knight f2, going after the pawns. Both of them are.
Grischuk has to make sure that he keeps at least one pawn on the board, but they're dropping so easily here, I feel. Knight f5, and Galko playing super fast. I think Galko should at least make a draw here.
For sure, he's going to eliminate... I think he's going to win this. I think he's going to win, as long as he avoids giving away his pawn by accident. Oh, knight h3, knight f4! Oh, 97! What is he doing?
97.
What is he doing? You cannot give up the pawn like that. That's a chance.
That was a big, big chance to beat Sasha Grischuk either on the board or on the clock, but it will come down to another sudden death game here, Danya.
Dude, that is... What are the odds of 2 games ending in a draw? I got to go to the Terry game. This decisive game looks to be going Renato Terry's way.
Yeah, Terry is crushing it. Both players around 15 seconds, but he's up in exchange. King h2. No tricks here. Queen h4. It's not over yet, though.
Amazing move. Rook d1. So
kind of is. Rook d1.
Back to d1 to d7.
That's what he should have gone for, but queen f5 and... Okay. Terry with the speed, though. Queen f6 or take the bishop. It's over.
Wait, I wouldn't have done that, but it's over now. Yeah. As long as he avoids stalemate.
And there we have it. Renato Terry moves on in the loser's bracket.
Avoiding
Back to
elimination.
Galko.
Back to Galko, and Grischuk with another nice position out of the opening bishop pair. Expansion in the center. Sergey trying to poke and prod at White's weaknesses.
Queen e6. The pawn on c4 is weak. The king to f4 takes f5. Nice find there by Grischuk. You could take with the queen though. F5. I don't know how I feel about f5. It gives back Black a very nice square on e5 for his knight. And look at the clock of Grischuk. He's down to 22 seconds.
Sergey just needs to keep this position closed for as long as possible and milk White's clock down. Grischuk's just not going to make it at this rate. He's playing fast, but Black is still very, very solid. c5, though, excellent move. We've got tactics. We've got trades.
I feel like practically this should be a win for Black. He's up 8 seconds on the clock. White's king is a little bit more exposed, but yeah, the time advantage is just too big.
Grischuk has to start pre-moving like rook d2, rook f2 at this point.
Yeah, I think he's just going to get flagged.
Runner is queen!
Queen 8, rook f4! He misses
my gosh,
it.
he missed it! This is pure nerves right now.
h4, g5, you have to create something.
But Sergey picks off the pawn.
But your king's so exposed. Oh, you can take. Okay,
That's
rook e7. 2 seconds.
He's
gonna get
1
flagged.
second. That's
it's
it.
A flag.
Sergey Galko. Oh, it wasn't easy, but he got it done. And he wins the match.
Woo. What a match. So Sergey Galko moves on in the loser's bracket, but we will say goodbye to Alexander Grischuk for now.
We will indeed. It was a great run. He's a beast, but man, just wasn't meant to be. A little bit of speed, I think, is what separates Grischuk from being an absolute elite bullet player, honestly.
Yeah, his instincts are top tier. But yeah, I think in the time scrambles, Galko is just a little bit better. And he moves on to the semifinals of the loser's bracket against Renato Terry. And the winner of that match will play against Denis Lazavik to determine who our second qualifier will be here. And Daya, who's your favorite in that match? Galko or Terry?
I would have to go with Terry, not because of raw strength. I think in raw strength, they're about even. But just from what I've seen in Galko's stream, I know he doesn't like playing against Renato. And Renato has, I think, a very, very good style against Galko because Renato is so solid, he lets his opponent get nervous and make a mistake on their own. So we will set up this next match. You will not want to miss these next two matches to determine the second qualifier. But we will go on a very, very short break as we set the players up. And we will be back with action from Galko's match against Terry here at the Bullet Chess Championship qualifier in just a couple of seconds. All right, we'll come back, and what's funny is Vladimir Zahartsov, who is out of the qualifier, is already playing more Bullet, but this is not part of the tournament, so I'm going to close the game here. We are back, getting set up for Terry against Galko. Going to be super exciting. All right. We're back in live. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the show. Bullet Chess Championship Qualifier alongside Grandmaster Benjamin Bach. How excited are you for this Galko-Terry match? And what are your predictions?
I'm pretty excited for this one. I feel like Terry should be the favorite. Galko, he beat Grischuk, but he was a little bit shaky in that matchup. And Terry, it felt like he was pretty convincing in that final game against Baku Boulevard, Rauf Mamedov. So I'm going to go with Terry. Also because what you said, it feels like Galko is struggling with Terry.
It most certainly does. And Galko with the white pieces in game one. Terry playing a Gurganidze system, which is kind of interesting. But I don't know about this.
He goes for the setup with f6 and knight f7. It's very solid, but it's difficult. It's also kind of passive. And there he
won as a pawn. Knight takes d5.
Oh, bishop e4.
Yeah.
Wow. Misses it, though. Now bishop e7. And I feel like Terry's position here might be a little bit easier to play. He can slowly but surely prepare the e5 break in the center. But look at the clock down here. Galko up almost 10 seconds.
That's what he has to try to do. I think for Sergey, very, very important to build up that time advantage in the first part of the middle game. That gives him a little bit more time to calculate in the critical moments.
And he moves his knight back to b1. Very, very passive, but it gives him the opportunity to go c3 and strengthen his pawn on d4. Terry having the two bishops here, but the bishops are a little bit passive on g7 and b7.
They are indeed. And White trying to get his knights around to key squares, but he traded the pawn, so the knight doesn't have an outpost anymore. e4, knight g5, king h6. Can you get away with that? I don't know.
Perhaps he could, but he goes h4. Now he moves the full knight because Terry gives him his queen. This should be Terry's game, but look at the clock down. He's down 10 seconds, so it's not over at all. Wait, rook g2? Rook g2.
Rook g2. Instead, he goes for solid move.
f3. What does Terry do? He's been a little bit too slow. It took 2 seconds for that move. That feels way too... Wait, he had rook 7 e2. That felt like a crushing attack.
It did indeed. And then he just traded the other rook. Definitely. He's not as sharp in converting as we are used to him being. Still completely winning. This should be a win. Take the pawn. Move the bishops.
But 10 seconds, that's not a whole lot. I mean, if he gets rid of the f3 pawn, at least he cannot lose. He's got the h pawn, but it's far from being over. In g5. I think this one is going to end in a draw. No, not anymore. Now you can pre-move everything. And it should be one for Terry.
Yeah.
Although you never know, there could be stalemate. No. Yeah.
Oh, with 1 second. Oh! He made it.
He made it. Yeah, you just have to make sure that your bishop doesn't control any of the escape squares of the king.
That's a very deep, actually, piece of advice. When you have, like, too many extra pieces at the end, you want to bring some of them to the corner of the board so they control the least amount of squares. Common advice for, particularly for newer bullet players to avoid the chances of stalemate, as you're saying.
Right, and Terry, once again, having the bishop pair here. Black has pretty good control over the central squares. He now goes e5, and the bishop on f1 is, again, a little bit passive.
It is indeed. And after the trade, and Black plays e4. Okay.
Terry up a pawn. We got a good question in the chat. How is Terry not a GM? I mean, I think he's definitely better in blitz chess than in classical, but I feel like also in classical he should be a GM. So, do you have any idea, Danya?
I honestly don't. I think he's over 2,500 FIDE. In terms of his positional understanding, probably 2,600 level. Might have something to do with opportunities, not playing too many norm tournaments, but I have no doubt that he's going to be GM probably within a year. It's crazy that this guy is in a GM.
Exactly. Oh! Queen f7?
And Queen takes f5?
2 pieces.
Oh my gosh, Queen f7. Wait. He's not seeing it.
What?
Oh, now he's losing.
All the time in the world.
And now he made a losing move. Bishop h3, 2 different pins. Now the bishop is untouchable. How on earth?
What a throw there by Terry. Instead of picking up at least one minor piece, he throws the game. And now it's all tied. I think had he played Queen f7, he should have easily been able to make it there with the time. But the score is all tied. And we'll see who will take this third game.
We will indeed. And it's another one of those Gurganidze lines where Terry builds up a nice center that's well supported by his knights.
H4, nice move by Galko, trying to chip away at Black's king side, and now he hangs the pawn on g6.
Yeah, and bishop d4, I think.
Okay, he hangs the pawn on h4. Terry takes it. Maybe if you can... Oh, knight e4, nice tactic. The knight is headed to g4 to create some attacking ideas, but you don't really have any threats.
Yeah, knight takes f7, queen h2. What's going on here? Who's taking how many pieces? I think black is winning.
Look at the clock down. Yeah, Terry up 13 seconds. That's a lot. I mean, 15 at this point.
I also think he's just winning on the board. He was going to play queen takes g3. Now he plays rook takes g3.
Oh,
rook f8.
Rook f8.
Picks up the knight.
That's game over. I mean, especially given a tough situation. He's got a checkmating attack here. Queen g2, and there goes the rook.
Yep, and he picks up the rook. And that's it. Another big win for Terry. And he's usually ultra solid with the white pieces. He almost never loses with white.
Yeah, Sergey playing the queen's Indian here. Terry going for this line with queen a4. White can hope for a little bit of pressure here against the d6 pawn, but Galko does have a nice center.
Indeed he does, and Terry expanding a little bit on the king side. I don't really think he's trying to attack, although maybe he is. Maybe g5 deserves attention.
Well, g4 is a pretty typical idea in this structure to give your bishop on a4 to g3 square to escape, because otherwise a move like g5 could trap it. Knight e4, sacrifice the pawn, and Sergey takes it.
Which I really like. I think that's what you got to try to do with black. Knight c3 is a very troublesome threat. You could follow up with d5. He plays it immediately.
Nice move. Yeah, now you have knight c3 in between, and your knight gets back to the nice d5 square. I think Terry is still very much in his game. It's only a pawn. He's got a nice bishop pair. Maybe now h4 followed by g5, and his move should be easier.
They should indeed. Knight d2, blundering queen e2, and a win for Galko again.
This should be a win for Galko. He's up 10 seconds. He's going to win a piece. I don't know what Terry did there over the last couple of moves. With king h1 and knight to d2.
It was a totally decent position. I think knight takes a2 is what made him nervous. He's going to try to play this out, but just no realistic chances here with pieces coming off the board and a 13-second time advantage.
Yeah, this should be too much. Sergey having a nice advantage on the clock. And he's pausing here, though. Wait, rook c8, how do you defend? You have king f8 and rook d8.
Yeah, luckily enough. Otherwise, the knight would have been lost.
Yeah. Terry, okay, he hangs another piece, and it's 2-2.
It is indeed. Sergey, who can win a game with white? Oh my gosh, that almost worked.
I think he tried to trick him there to try to catch a g6, bishop g7 pre-move, but Terry had it covered.
I have no doubt about that, actually, but experienced bullet players, they know all of the tricks in the book. They're not going to let themselves lose a game like this. Okay, we have a pretty standard 1b3 type structure. Who do you think has the practical edge here?
I think maybe black. It's going to be difficult for white to activate that bishop on b2. Black is a pretty solid center. That being said, white is a pretty active knight on e5. And the bishop on f5, once again, is a little bit trapped. So maybe Terry has to consider a move like g5, give it a bit more space.
And that's exactly what he does. Great minds think alike. The drawback is that the g5 pawn is a major weakness. White's bishop can slide back to c1. Maybe h4, try to chisel away at black's king side. The time situation, going to be important a couple of seconds from now.
6 and knight jumps back to d3. Queen c7, he's aiming for h4, chipping away at white's king side. He goes knight d6 back. Terry is so good in these positions. He's slowly but surely maneuvering, keeping the pieces on the board, and that's often where his opponent get nervous.
And there it is, f5, securing the e4 square. Imperceptibly, he's got up 7-8 seconds on the clock. That's huge. That's potentially decisive as the position only begins to complicate more and more. Oh, there he goes.
F4, great move by Terry. Opening up the king side, but CD, the center is collapsing. Wait, that was not good.
No, and
h4?
Bishop g2, dropping the bishop back, attacking the knight. Terry sacks the exchange to get himself practical chances. Sergey opens the diagonal. Who's catching who? Queen e5.
Queen e5 going for check, but Queen g4 though. Queen g4, you gotta go back.
Yeah, because if you go to e2, you blunder the queen.
Rook
takes e6!
Rook e6!
Oh, he blundered it!
You have to go back, though. You have to go back. He's
Rook takes e6!
Oh, no, he blunders it again! Terry! Rook e6!
That is just... You gotta see that move. That's game over. White has one check on d8, and he loses.
That would have been a big win for Terry with the black pieces, but the score remains tied. Renato's switching it up from his normal opening. He's a pretty typical d4 player, but now he plays a king's Indian attack. I don't think this is necessarily his type of position.
I've never seen him play this on the white side. Now, he plays this from the black side because he's a French player, and this could have arisen out of a French move order, But
H6.
I like what
I think
he's
he should
got.
100% go. I think he should 100% go H6. That carve out those dark squares around Black's king. But now Black seems to be doing all right because he got the pawn back.
A lot of very uncharacteristic one move blunders and mistakes by Terry, who we're used to just
H6.
playing ultra clean chess. Sergey gets his bishop to a defensive posture.
You can take the pawn on c2 or on b2. Goes for the c2 pawn. Maybe bishop h6 now for Terry. Trying to trade off the bishops and again go after the Black king. And there he goes.
Indeed he does. Zhigalko kind of curls up into a ball there and tries to get the light squared bishops off the board. But it comes at the cost of a big pawn.
Okay, rook e4, nice move by Terry to block. I feel like this should be a practical edge for white. Black's king is a little bit weak. Rook h1.
Queen f5
Creating
maybe?
some threats. Oh, queen g6.
Oh, what a catch. Queen g6 is amazing.
Misses it.
Great eyes by you. Now you can't take on e5 because f2 suddenly hangs. Don't forget about the b2 rook. Terry can't find a move. Queen g8.
H4,
Queen
h6, h6.
Or h6.
Or queen g8. Goes for, okay, rook e5. You cannot take, but you can take an f2 first.
That's crazy tactics. Rook takes f2, luring the king onto a pinnable square. But Zhigalko, he doesn't find a move. This ain't gonna cut it.
He took all the time in the world there, and he's down a pawn or material's equal.
Oh!
But he hung the queen there.
He hung the queen, but he's gonna get
He's gonna
flagged here.
lose
I
on
think.
time.
Yeah, Terry trying to, but Terry's taking.
Don't go queen e5. Isn't that a threefold?
It was very close. Terry continuing to repeat. He's actually losing on the clock suddenly.
Look at Zhigalko, he's catching up.
Zhigalko's
so
catching
fast.
up. Take g3. Take g3. What? Oh!
And now push the pawn. He gets it.
Zhigalko. Who won?
What's happening? I have no idea, but Terry flexed
Terry
it with
won?
0.2 seconds on the clock.
Terry won. No way. Oh my God.
That was insane.
With 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the timer. That should not have gotten that close. Zhigalko was a speed demon at the end. Bishop takes f7, maybe? Okay. Never mind.
All right, rook e1 preparing e5. So maybe Terry should play the move e5 himself, and there he goes. We've got a pretty standard Philidor Pierce type of position, but what a game that was, Danya. And that could prove decisive in this match.
Literal insanity. And Sergei Zhigalko has to calm down. I like the way he's playing here. He's got in a regular, normal position, going for the kingside attack. Pretty promising situation there, I think.
For sure, yeah. But it was incredible how many pre-moves Zhigalko was able to get involved. Terry was one having the checks, and Zhigalko having the exposed king.
Mm-hmm. Now knight f5 check. Speaking of exposed king, great move by Terry, dropping his knight away to a defended square, but he's getting crunched on both sides of the board. c5? Ugh.
Knight a8, but white doesn't have anything tangible. I mean, black is holding it together. No. Knight f6 back, trading off the rooks. Goes king f8. That feels a bit passive, though.
That's the thing. It looks very active for white, but how do you actually capitalize? Sergey also with a 10-second time advantage.
Yep. Terry activating his knights, though. Knight f6, knight at d7. How do you defend the c5 pawn? Okay, knight b4.
Oh, knight e2 was a fork.
Okay. He missed it. Knight e6. Terry is so good at maneuvering. Knight f8 to e6. The g5 pawn is weak. f4? F4 is a big threat.
And Zhigalko has to drop his king back, give away the pawn. His time advantage has been erased, and rook h8 was winning.
If Terry wins this game, he's very close to winning the match, because I don't know if Zhigalko is going to be in time to win one more game.
I don't think so. There is minute 40 on the timer. This is going to be a win for Terry. He's also up 4 seconds on the clock. Zhigalko needs a little magic here.
Yeah, Terry activating his rook through the h-file. Knight f4. Okay, king back. He's up 4 seconds all of a sudden. How does he do it? Okay, wait, but look at the
he's gotten the knight.
Zhigalko having those knights.
He's just too low on time.
And he's not getting the pre-moves in. 7 seconds for Terry. That should be plenty of time to flex Zhigalko.
He's going to go for a mate here.
So fast.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and there goes the rugger.
No, he's not going to make it.
And
he's not going to make it.
Zhigalko flex once again. That should be the match for Terry. I mean, with a little bit more than 1 minute on the clock, Zhigalko should not be... No, that's it.
No, there's less than a minute left. Terry can stall it out.
Yeah, that's the match. All right, so Terry can already mentally prepare for a match against Denis Lazavik. He lost against Denis Lazavik in the semifinals of the winner's bracket, but he can get his revenge right here.
And Terry, I mean, I think he's showing a lot of signs of nerves, but when he gets a maneuvering game, he's basically unstoppable. He plays so quickly and accurately. He erased Sergey's time advantage in the previous game. Both players, I think, have pretty similar styles in our final.
Yeah, that was insane. But yeah, Sergey, he always manages to catch up on the clock. I mean, it was like 7-2, but it came down to the final second.
No, he's incredibly fast. There's no question about it. He's incredibly fast. And he will have one more chance today, and I'm positive that he will try to exploit that chance.
Yeah, the timer just ran out. So this is the last game of the match. Even if Terry accidentally, hits the resign button, he's going to move on to the final against Denis Lazavik.
Yep. And d6, bishop d5 maybe coming through. But it doesn't matter. Terry can just coast here. He knows he's got this in the bag. And it's a moot point.
Exactly. And Daya, I'm curious to hear your thoughts about this one. So Denis Lazavik already finished a while ago. He lost that match against David Paravian. Mm-hmm. Renato Terry will be coming in hot into that match. He's playing this match right now against Sergey Galko. Do you feel like that's an advantage? That he's coming in straight from this match, or Denis Lazavik, who had a little bit of time to relax?
Yeah, it's very hard to say. I think it depends on your overall level of bullet experience. I think for Terry, it's a good thing that he's gotten all this practice in. He's not quite as nervous. I think when you start these matches, you've got butterflies in your stomach, and that can impact your play. So I like being more warmed up when I'm playing important matches. Okay, now it's over, and Terry's going to win one more for good measure.
Yeah, so pretty strong performance by Renato Terry. He wins the semifinal of the losers bracket, 5.5, 2.5, and we will have the final between Denis Lazavik and Renato Terry. Earlier on in the tournament, Denis Lazavik won that match. It was a pretty close affair. Terry started off with a 3-0 lead, but he went down 5-3.
Incredible match that was. Lazavik got it together, and he was unstoppable. We will see what arc this final match takes for the second qualification spot. We congratulate David Paravian for crushing the field and taking the first qualification spot. You will not want to miss the final match to determine the second spot here at the Bullet Chess Championship Qualifiers. We are going to set the players up, and we will be back very shortly, folks, for the final match of this second qualifier. Okay, we're back here at the Bullet Chess Championship qualifier alongside Grandmaster Benjamin Bach. I'm GM Daniel Naroditsky, offering you commentary of today's Bullet action. And everything is set for the final match to determine the second qualification spot. Will it be Renato Terri, who is trying to avenge his loss yesterday as well as his loss today earlier against his opponent, Denis Lazavik? What are your predictions, Benjamin, as we get started in this match?
It's very tough to say who's going to win this matchup. I mean, Terry started off amazingly earlier on in this match against Denis. He took a 3-point lead, but then he completely collapsed and lost 5 games in a row. So what are your thoughts, Daniel? Do you think that's just pure nerves? And do you feel also in the last couple of matches we've seen from Terry, is he playing below his level, or what is your take?
I think it's pure nerves, and I do think he's playing below his level. He's obviously playing at a super high level, don't get me wrong, as the match gets underway, but at his full strength, I think Terry is honestly one of the top maybe like 7 or 8 bullet players. Let's see how he negotiates the nerves with a qualification now on the line.
And what might be very confusing for some of our viewers is the fact that Denis Lazavik has a 2-point lead. That is because he won the earlier match, 5-3. So we have to take that into consideration. So if at the end of this match, Terry is down by 1 point, he has actually won this match.
Yeah. And we've got a big knight sitting on d6. Denis is so good with white. It's crazy. He's just always getting these positions.
Yeah, his white repertoire is really tough to deal with. Terry going queen b8. They're dropping 2 pawns, and the knight on d6 is still there. Going h5, trying to create some counterplay, but it's going to be tough to really create anything tangible.
And obviously, if you would have captured it, then a pawn would have recaptured, and the bishop would have been even potentially stronger than the knight. So it's the lesser evil to keep it alive. But Terry's getting terried. F4.
He's getting teared apart, and the bishop on g6 is super passive. Now on h7. White still has to close it out, though, but Denis Lazavik also having a 5-second lead on the clock.
He plays f takes e6. The tactics work out. Bishop e4 is no longer a fork. This is resignable by Terry.
Yeah, rook d8 is coming. He takes a pawn on
rook d7.
But rook d7. He takes with the e-pawn.
Beautiful. That's and over. 26 seconds on the clock. And now it's been 6 games in a row that Denis Lazavik has defeated Renato Terry from their previous match. So is it getting a little bit mental now for Renato? He has to win a game here and open the floodgates again.
And so Terry having a space advantage here in the queen's gambit decline. But it's not that easy to break through. Denis trading off the light square bishops. He's aiming to trade off the queens as well, potentially, with queen a6. And now gets the open a-file. And Danya, I've seen Hikaru play these types of positions. It looks passive for black, but it's also always difficult to do anything with white.
Especially because black now controls the only open file, the a-file. And if black controls the a-file, the best white can do is trade a lot of pieces along that file. Lazavik?
I love how Lazavik is playing this game. Oh, but rook a2, he blunders.
Oh right my god! That and after queen c3, but it's f3 at the end, and you lose the knight.
And king h1. H1.
Maybe f3, queen takes e3, and then f5, and black can bank on his passed pawns. This is actually not ultra elementary because black's king is super safe.
It's not over yet. King g6, king f6. Okay, he's got to be careful not to allow Terry to trade off the queens, but those pawns are difficult to get rid of.
And in some versions, even the queen trade is unclear.
Okay, but queen h5, nice find by Terry. The pawn on h6 is undefendable. King e5, I think practically you're just going to lose this game. King g1, that should be it.
Yeah, no chance for black to create a passer.
And Terry takes game number 2. The score is tied now, and Terry's switching it up with the move 1 e6.
Yep, and a double fianchetto carried out by Terry. And Lazavik always fianchettos his bishop against any King's Indian type opening.
Yep, he has a nice space advantage here in the center. And, you know, for black in this type of opening, it's easy to make your first 10 or 15 moves, right? You set up some slightly weird hippo, but then it's like, what do you do? What do you do here with black?
Yeah, it's hard. You kind of shuffle your pieces. We are aware that it says 6-4 on the screen. That's just because they played a previous match. The score right now is 1-1, so we will update the score manually after each game concludes. Right now, it's tied 1-1.
Yeah, Terry once again with some nice maneuvering. He's aiming to double up his rooks on the F file to pressure the pawn on F2, knight D3. Nice move by Dennis, trading off the knights. Knight E6 now. Terry definitely has the edge here because his bishop on B7 is more active than white bishop on G2.
And now the F4 square is a massive weakness. F5, of course, is also weak, but black can always target that knight with bishop C8. Terry, again, it's the maneuvering game. This is his type of game.
He maneuvers so well. He knew that Dennis was going to go B4 to try to go C5. So he played A5, put his rook on A8. So the moment white goes B4, he can trade and get that open file for his rook.
And now an exchange sack for Dennis to try to change the nature of the game. Rook A4, F6 check, maybe?
Wait,
no, it doesn't
F6?
really work. Oh, it does work. Queen F5.
Why not? I mean, king of 6, queen of 5. I think practically this looks super tough for black. I think Dennis is going to take this game.
Terry was burning. Bishop B5!
Bishop B5!
Oh my gosh.
12s. You can't count out Terry, though. He's super fast. It's not over. Don't go queen D7. Queen G8. Oh, queen B3! There goes the rook.
He didn't spot the easy move, but it's still not over. He's trying to go for some sort of stalemate, some perpetual, but Lazavik he wasn't born yesterday. And another win.
And he takes a 1-point lead. By the way, Chesscom has reset the score, so it's a little bit more clear now.
Nice.
Dennis Lazavik has a 1-point lead in this match. And I like what Terry is doing here much better. He goes for a typical Terry setup or Akala setup.
Yeah, everything is playing. All the pieces are breathing. And you do put a knight on E5 in these lines, but he locks up the queenside. Classic idea, C5 and B4, queenside expansion, B5 and C6 is going to be a big, big problem for Dennis. Oh, God.
Yeah. I called it earlier. This is a typical Terry position. He's nicely expanded on the queen side. He's got a strong knight on E5, and like you said, he can easily maneuver here and slowly but surely increase the pressure on Dennis.
Absolutely. And getting rid or trying to get rid of the strongest piece. Look at what he did there. He went knight D2, induced F5, went back to F3, and then around to E5. This is exquisite positional play in a bullet game.
Yeah, he's slowly but surely increasing the pressure, nicely defending the pawn on B2. Dennis trying to create some counterplay. I like what he's done here, though, carving out the E4 square for his knight.
I think Terry forgot that the knight can come back to E4. Now Terry has to pin his hopes on that queen side, and it's getting very, very sharp.
Yeah, but it's going to be difficult for Dennis to create some real... Wait, he could have taken there an F4, and now he finally sees it. Uh-oh, this is getting out of control.
This is getting out of control.
Knight C3.
Oh, a fork. Uh-oh.
A bishop D4.
Oh! Oh, it's
Terry
over.
Was in full control, but he all of a sudden hangs everything, and Dennis takes a 2-point lead in the match.
That literally happened over the course of 3 moves. He was maneuvering. He was seeing everything. 2 games in a row, as you're saying. And with 7 minutes and 55 seconds left, it's time for Terry to strike with the black pieces.
Yeah, it's far from being over, but he really has to win a game. I mean, probably this one, because if Dennis gets to 4 points, it's almost over.
Yeah, it is, especially given his solid style, the fact that most games are really coming down to a time scramble. And Dennis has another semi-nice position, I would say.
I like his position. The pawn on A4 feels more of a weakness. If anything else, Terry going C6 and C5 to keep the queen side closed.
Mm-hmm.
Time is about even, though, and it's, again, a Terry position where he can maneuver. But how do you recapture here? To the B pawn.
Rook B7, queen D8, H3. Playing on both sides of the board is Lazavik. Kind of playing like Terry would, honestly.
Right.
Knight B5.
8.
Oh, he just takes
Taking the pawn on A4. The nice thing for Terry, though, is that his position is still pretty solid. He's got no... Although the pawn on D6 is a little bit weak, but now it's starting to fall apart a little bit.
And now he's playing on the king side, G4 and H5. Looks pretty devastating. He's playing with his pieces instead. This is just winning.
And look at the clock. Dennis all of a sudden up 10 seconds. It's tough for Terry to hold this one together.
This might be resign time for Terry, just to give himself at least an off chance to get 3 more games in.
H6. No, this is over. What do you do here? I think he has to press the resign button. That's what he does.
He does.
And Terry has to win a game as quickly as possible here.
Okay, there is enough time for 3 games. That's statistically provable. But the way things are going, Dennis is winning every single type of position. I don't know if this is the way to beat Dennis. Like, he likes these symmetrical positions. He's good at them.
Yeah, Terry having a slight edge, though. The knight on C6 is perhaps a little bit misplaced. It's blocking the bishop on b7, but I love what Dennis did there. Going 98 and bishop 6, trading off white's active bishop, and Terry hanging a pawn, but Dennis does not take it.
Nope, he's just kind of keeping things solid. He can trade the rooks and go rook c8. I mean, how are you winning that position with white?
And Daniel, look at the clock. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Dennis up 7 seconds. And he's got a dream game here. I mean, I think if he trades off all the rooks, it's just a draw. And will Terry have enough time to win 3 games?
First of all, he's got to win this game. And this game is going to take so much time off the match clock. F6, everything solid, everything protected. And if anything, black might be playing for a win, given white's clock.
For sure, yeah. A b5. He's up a pawn. The bishop on a4 is a little bit trapped, but you can go a6, bishop to b3 now, or bishop to c2. If Dennis wins this game, it's over. It's over. Like, I don't think Terry's going to have enough time to win 4 games. No.
Basically almost resignable. He's now down a pawn. He's down on the clock. It feels like ever since the 5 games that Lazavik won in that previous match, it never really got out of Terry's head. Bishop d5, the game is over. Another win for Lazavik.
Yeah, he's winning the bishop on f3, and that's it. I mean, with 4 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock, it's just not going to be enough time to win 4 games. Even 3 games. You're not going to win 3 games in that time.
No, and you might not even win a single game the way things are going. It's checkmate on h3, and Denis Lazavik is, barring a act of God, is going to be our second qualifier of the day.
Yeah, no, Terry will have to win all of the remaining games within a minute. That's just not going to happen.
No.
So, yeah, amazing play by Denis Lazavik. I mean, I knew he was an extremely strong rapid player and blitz player, but I didn't know he was that good in bullet as well.
I didn't either. I've honestly never seen him play a bullet match. I think I've seen him play in like JSCC and stuff, but this is a completely different animal with no increment. Completely different animal.
Yeah, and what's pretty interesting, though, I mean, there are different approaches to bullet. I mean, some people, they play very aggressive, they play for tricks, but Denis has this slow maneuvering style, and it works out perfectly for him.
Which shows us that I think most people associate good bullet players with tacticians, and I think a lot of the top players are good at tactics. Lazavik is good at tactics, but this shows that you can really keep the fundamentals of your style, and that those fundamentals can really persist even in the bullet time control. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and there we had a draw. I mean, if it was not secure yet, it surely is. Now Denis keeps his 4-point lead, another 3 minutes and 20 seconds. But the good thing for Terry is that after this matchup, there will be another qualifier in exactly 13 minutes. So he still has a chance to make it. And looking at the field, Danya, I think it's going to be between Terry and Galko if they make it to the knockouts.
Well, he seems
Maybe
to have...
Ralph has a chance.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of players, I think, have a chance. They seem to have... he seems to have no problems making it into the top 8 thus far, but something just seems to happen with his nerves. As Lazavik just kind of going back and forth. This is purely cosmetic at this point. 2.5 minutes left on the match clock.
Yeah, but Terry, I think he definitely deserves a place in a Bullet Chess Championship. We saw yesterday how he also made it to the final of the losers bracket, but lost to Emin Ohanyan. And here again, he's going down at the very last hurdle.
He is indeed driving the pawn down to c3 is Lazavik. This game, the next one, likely to be the last one. After that, we will congratulate our winners. We will go on a break, and then we will be bringing you, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, 10 minutes from now, 12 minutes from now, the second qualifier of the day, with a lot of hungry players, as you're kind of getting at, Benjamin, who really feel that chip on their shoulder and that urgency to qualify with their last chance.
Yeah, and what do you think? Do you think this is an advantage for Terry that he gets to play, that he has to play right after losing another final, and he's warmed up, but it's going to take him a lot of energy?
It really is, and it's not a given that you qualify. Like, these qualifiers are strong. We saw how it was coming down to the wire, so I honestly don't know if it's a positive. I just think he wants this game to be over, this match to be over. He'll probably make himself some coffee, reset. It's going to be a tall order, though.
Yeah, but here we saw the experience of Terry repeating his, moving his bishop in between the d3 and c4 square. Both squares are safe, so there's no way Denis could have ever tricked him there.
Yeah, very important aspect of fundamentals of bullet is knowing how to select defended squares that you can consistently pre-move on.
Right, and here once again, Dennis having a very slight but annoying advantage in these Catalan type positions. He always gets those positions with white.
Yeah, he does. Whatever his opponent plays, he basically plays the same Catalan setup. King's Indian, Nimzo Indian, doesn't matter.
But it works wonders for him. He's got a very, very slight edge here. I would say the pawn on e6 is a little bit weak. I don't know about Terry moving his king to the center. He's got some weaknesses, even though Black is holding them together for now.
Yeah, and that is going to be the last game of the segment with 23 seconds left on the clock. So it's a moot point, I think. But they're going to get another game in then. I think. Okay, I mean, I don't really see the point of another game, but I guess they have to complete the allotted time.
Rules are rules, Danya. You know, but
I mean,
for Terry, a very slight objective mistake because this he has to play another game, and he deprives himself of like 2 minutes of rest.
Yeah, the thing is, okay, a draw by agreement. That's a nice gesture,
right? And
by
that
Lazavik.
is a wrap. A very dominant performance by Denis Lazavik, who wins the final of the losers bracket 7-3, and together with David Paravian, he moves on to the main event.
He loses the first 3 games of the elimination knockout to Renato Terry, completes a 5-point comeback, wins 5 in a row, and now crushes Terry here in their second meeting. Renato will have to reset. He has exactly 9 minutes to enter the second qualifier, push everything that just happened out of his mind, and try to attempt a third chance at qualification. We will be bringing you the second qualifier. We congratulate David Paravian and now Denis Lazavik for making their way to the main Bullet Chess Championship, which will be the final 2 lucky players who will join them. Well, that remains to be seen. The next qualifier starts in 9 minutes, folks, so we will go on a somewhat longer break. I think we need a little bit of rest as well, and then we will be bringing you that qualifier, the arena, followed by the elimination knockout in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned.